Cheers, queers! What's on the big gay agenda today, Theora?
Today we are continuing our epic discussions of Blank the Series. Woo!
Woo!
Today we'll be covering Season 2, Episode 2. Let's see how long this takes. Who knows?
6.5 hours.
Only Lesbian Jesus knows. I'm sure there's some people out there who are like, yes. So if we don't deliver a 6.5 hour episode, send hate mail to Kaitlynn.
Theora! You know what that would do to my mental health!
No, don't do that. What you can do, actually, now that you're all here, there's a bunch of new people. Hello and welcome. We're just going to put this out here. Since there's a bunch of new girl love shows happening simultaneously as Lesbian Jesus intended, let us know. Give us suggestions of what you would like us to cover like this, like in depth. Just let us know in the comments. Disclaimer, we will be covering the loyal pin at some point in some fashion. So aside from that, what would you like us to talk about? Because there's been like 23.5 came out, affairs happening.
Reverse for you.
We're fans of those shows. The Secret of Us happened. So just like let us know what you would like us to cover in depth like this. We want to hear from you because we have ideas, but we want to hear your ideas too.
And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to cover every single show in depth because there's so much coming out, which is such a great problem to have. Because like a year or two ago, I think, maybe it was 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we were so depressed because it was like, everything's getting canceled. What the hell are we going to watch? And now it's a problem. Like, there's so much coming out. Yeah. We can't keep up. And it's such a great
exciting
problem to have.
Yeah, just understand that like doing this, it takes us months. We've been doing Blank for months, which is great, but it does limit what we can cover like this. So like, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you want to hear. So just like, let us know. We just want to know. All right. And also like I guess if you're new here, also hello and welcome. We have more content on Patreon. Become a Patreon member for $5 a month. We release all kinds of stuff. I'm going to give a shout out to something specifically in this episode. You'll get there when we get there. Reaction videos, just random content. Just go hang out there. You can also become a free member, and we also post in advance what we're going to be covering. So if you just want to keep up with what we're doing month by month, just become a free member and you can kind of see and then decide if you want to join or not. If you're not about that life, that's totally fine. Go join our Discord. There's a bunch of people in there who have come together to talk about all the girl love shows as they're airing. So it's really fun over there, and like everybody's keeping each other informed with what's coming out. There's so many things. Like
so many. Every day I wake up, there's a new notification and someone's talking about something that's about to come out. I'm like,
oh my God. It's great. It's great. The Lingworm show that's going to come out soon. Like, yes, it's all going to be great. So just go there and we can all gay scream together. Yes. I think that's all I got.
The best kind of screaming.
Also, Kaitlynn just upgraded our website. You should plug that, Kaitlynn.
Oh yeah. Go ahead to our website because I spent countless hours on it. And we have a blog now that like I'm trying to make between our interviews and episodes and a thing. Any ideas that come to my head that I want to shout about? Because there's like... Theora and I don't always overlap with shows we watch. So... we need somewhere to shout about it else. And we also can't just cover everything. No, I'm really excited about it. Can you tell? You can go learn more about us, about the podcast in general. But I mean, if you're here, you definitely already know the podcast. But it's a great time. You can even see our episodes, listen and watch on our website now. It's a fun time.
What is the website name? How do they find it?
BigGayEnergyPod.com.
Woo! Nice and easy. So go check that out.
Anything else?
No, that's all the housekeeping stuff.
I mean, no. I am working on our merch store as well. Okay? So, this is a work in progress. We need to know which design do you want. Should I make Eat Her Mango?
Just for the loyal pin. Yeah, the Eat Her Mango innuendo.
But, like, what blank stuff?
Respectfully aggressive.
What do you want? Just let us know, okay? Because I will make it.
When you give Anung a cookie.
When you give Anung a cookie.
Big Nung, little Nung.
There is a book that we could make. You just need to
I know. We'll get there. Yeah. If you want anything, just let us know. We will make it.
Awesome. Okay, but I think it's time we get into 202 because we're gonna be here for quite a bit.
I have to mute myself, but keep talking, Kaitlynn, because dog things.
Awesome. Okay, because I start this episode, which I conveniently forget every single time we film. And as usual, let's begin by hydrating for Big Nung.
Oh, speaking of which.
Yes, we need to give a disclaimer for this, too.
It was brought to our attention that we were pronouncing Phi's name wrong. It's Phi, not Faye. There's apparently a big debate out there. But the bottom line that I learned is that when she speaks, she has a British accent. So again, every time I learn things about this woman, it makes her more attractive than she was a minute ago. So, like, hydrate for British accents. So
yes. Also Australian. That's
all the accents. All the accents.
But anyway, if she's speaking in a British accent, technically it would be Faye in American. But anyway.
But listen, if that's how she says her name's Phi. So hydrate for Phi. So we're sorry, we were saying it wrong and we were offending people. We didn't know. I didn't listen to her speak, but now I need to because oh my god.
I'm surprised it took that long for people to correct us.
I usually watch videos with the sound off. That's the problem. And I read.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Anyway.
We're sorry.
Let's get into this episode.
Let's get into it.
So we actually begin this episode with everyone happy. Like.
Yes. Including us.
Yeah. The Nungs are in bed together and gay staring. Because, of course.
Yeah. They're basking in the aftermath of lesbian Jesus only knows what that they were doing. But it's the first time that they, like, have an after together. Where they're actually together.
Someone didn't just leave the other one in bed. And
nobody was drunk or grieving. What?
What? It was both consensual this time?
Everyone was in their right mind? Who would have thought? No, it's great. Good moment. This is, like, what their lives could be like. We're all getting a preview, and we like to see it.
Yeah. So, Big Nung notices that Little Nung is obviously thinking too much because there is more to the staring than just gay thoughts. And she asks what she's curious about. And Little Nung is like, so does this mean we're together now? Like, we've had
girlfriend?
2 false starts. Now it's real,
so
right?
True. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Where's the lie? So,
instead of immediately being like, yes, you have my heart, Big Nung hesitates. And avoids eye contact with Little Nung, which is never a great sign.
No.
And there's so much gay panicking going on in Big Nung's brain. Okay, this woman needs to just accept the fact that she is a Little Nung sexual. And this would be her first relationship. And it still comes with all these implications. Because, like, this is a big, big deal for both of them.
Yes.
And there's so much to think about, which we have said in multiple episodes at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. There's a lot weighing on Big Nung, and we'll get into that. But something that happens that's super cute during this scene, because, like, okay, Little Nung knows Big Nung enough, but she's like, okay, are we girlfriends now? Can we say that? Because, like, in her head, that's what Little Nung has, and sometimes out loud, she's been calling Big Nung this for a while. And she's like, are you able to call me that? That's what she's really asking, because in Little Nung's head, she saw Big Nung once, it was like, girlfriend, mine. But she's, like, trying to get Big Nung to say it. So, while Big Nung is gay panicking, Little Nung does this thing where she headbutts Big Nung's hand. My webcam's into this. Because, like, before she asks the question, like, Big Nung's doing the thing where she, like, traces Little Nung's face with her fingers, which is, like, a very intimate thing that she does, but she stops when Little Nung asks the girlfriend question. So Little Nung's like, hey, like, headbutting her hand, being like, why'd you stop? No, keep doing that. Like, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. She's always, this is the give the mouse the cookie scenario. She's trying to see how far she can push Big Nung. And then Big Nung's like, okay, fine. And, like, goes back to doing it. It's very cute, and they don't say anything, and good acting choices.
I'm laughing because it's exactly what my dog does.
Dogs do this, yeah. It's cute.
It's adorable. Fine. Okay, but Little Nung notices that Big Nung is not really ready for this conversation. No. I mean, I don't know if Big Nung will ever be fully ready for this conversation. She just has to keep wearing her down more.
Literally.
And Little Nung gives her the out and says that she doesn't need to answer right now. And I think that part of her knows that if she does push too much, Big Nung is just going to run and sabotage the relationship. Because that's really all she knows is how to run. This is the first time she's really just stayed and confronted her feelings.
Yeah, and I think Little Nung knows that Big Nung is somebody who needs time to process things, and she's fine with that. She's planting seeds. That's all she's doing. And I think for Big Nung, it's not that she doesn't think of Little Nung that way. We'll get into it in this episode in particular. Like, she has a longitudinal way of thinking about Little Nung. It's not a fling. It's not any of that stuff. Like, she thinks long term about her. I think it's more so the concept of, like, labeling the relationship that freaks out Big Nung. It's like you mentioned, she's never been in a relationship before. Neither of them have. And, like, Big Nung's in her 30s. So, like, this is a bigger deal for her, right? And she's the type of person who needs to take baby steps with relationships because she's also very much afraid of fucking shit up. Like, we just came from 201 where she fucked up royally and was trying to make up for it. Like, she's somebody who gets in her head a lot. And you see her getting in her head when Little Nung asks this question. And then you contrast that with Little Nung, who's, like, singing Dress by Taylor Swift in public. And so they're on different pages. They're on different pages, okay?
I could totally see her actually singing that in public, too.
Can you imagine? Yeah, she gets the mic and just starts singing it while staring at Big Nung. Yeah, she would do it, and Big Nung would run out of the room. Yeah, exactly. That's where they're both in different headspaces when it comes to, like, the labeling and being public kind of thing. But I will say it's clear from prior episodes that Big Nung does want things to move forward. That was literally the point of 201, right? But it's like this is happening too fast, and you can see her get overwhelmed in this scene. So eventually Little Nung is going to wear her down enough to get an answer to this question without directly asking Big Nung. Because I think you're right, Kaitlynn. I think that if Little Nung kept asking directly, like, are you my girlfriend? She would never get an answer because, like, Big Nung is bad with directly answering things that freak her out. But Little Nung has a way of wearing her down and, like, indirectly getting her answer. And, like, when we get there, it's a glorious moment. It happens in 204. It's so quick and fast and great, but she does get the answer to this question without directly asking, which I think is the only way to get Big Nung to talk about things that make her uncomfortable. So, you know, remember, she's a baby gay. She's 36 years old, but she's still a baby gay. So she's, like, learning all of these things. And it's just, Little Nung is respectfully aggressive, and she's like, we're dating now, right? Like, come on.
This cannot be easy for Big Nung, and
no, it's a lot.
I definitely feel for her with the inexperience thing.
And then this relationship is messy as fuck because of all the outside influences, you know? So, like, for this to be your first relationship ever, this is a lot, you know?
This is a lot. This is a lot in general.
Yeah, right. So, like, you can't, nobody's in the wrong here. It's just, like, you know, they're getting there. It's just, you know. And I think Little Nung knows that. Again, emotional maturity in Little Nung. She knows that. But she's like, okay, I just wanted to test the water just to see if I'd get a yes.
Big Nung is getting better at expressing her insecurities.
Yes. Agreed.
And you see that when she asks immediately after this conversation if Little Nung is mad at her. Because she, like, that's the last thing she was. She doesn't want to make Little Nung mad at her because she's not able to give her what she wants at this moment. And Little Nung responds that, who would be mad at you? I mean, yeah, look at her. Like, who could be mad at
who is this? You got that get out of jail free card. Yeah, I think it's really sweet that Big Nung asked this. Like, again, the growth to even ask. Because she's asking Little Nung, how do you feel, really? Which, that's been an issue with literally everybody in the show. Nobody taking in Little Nung's her feelings into consideration. But here's Big Nung being like, I'm uncomfortable. Does that make you mad? Basically. Because Big Nung is being extremely vulnerable in this scene, which is new for her. And the fact that she could do it with Little Nung is huge, right? And she's been extremely vulnerable with Little Nung, like, since she showed up at the Bua Palace the prior day. And what I love is after Little Nung says, who could be mad at you for that? Like, because it's like she understands that Big Nung needs more time. And, like, she does get that. So, and then I love Big Nung's response is she does the sham thing. Which is so cute.
So, we have learned now since watching this, we've saw a couple other shows. I think that's just a common thing in every single show, but I love the sham thing. And it will always be the sham thing.
Yeah, it's the sham thing. The nose booping is the sham thing. Another thing you do with dogs, it's a nose boop.
Yeah, I have one dog that doesn't care and one dog that, like, it's like a victory if you can actually get the boop. Anyway, Little Nung also reassures her by reminding Big Nung that she is the one who understands her the best. And really, they both understand each other the best out of anyone because, you know, they actually talk.
Yes, those are two people who actually
Who would have thought that all you had to do was talk to somebody and ask them how they're freaking feeling, Chet?
Chet, you bitch. Fucking hate Chet.
Asshole.
Oh my god. Don't hydrate for Chet. Kaitlynn, how dare you?
He was about to kill me, Theora.
You're hydrating for Little Nung. I understand. Because this moment, it's really sweet. Because I think what Big Nung hears from that is that Little Nung, like, believes her, is what she's saying. Because, like, you know, and that's growth. Because up to this point, I think Little Nung's, like, audacity off the charts, causing some problems. And she's always like, I know you the best. And it comes off as audacity because it's Little Nung. But, like, legitimately, like you said, she does know Big Nung the best. And I think for me, she's basically like, listen, I knew your answer was going to be evasion. But I still got to shoot my shot because I'm Little Nung, right? She's still got to try. Otherwise, she wouldn't be Little Nung. But, like, I think she was kind of expecting this. That's why she's also not mad or upset. Because you'll see her in some scenes where, like, she tries to push. She gets impatient with this. But right now, she's pretty, like, I get it, whatever. Like, you know, I think she says later, she's like, just being here with you in bed naked is already a dream, you know? So she's like, I'm already feel like I'm dreaming. So, like, you know.
She has had this recurring dream.
Oh, yes.
For years now.
For who knows how long.
And she's like, it's finally a reality. I think she probably still thinks she's dreaming.
Probably. Like, the way this is shot, too, it gives you the element of dreaminess. They do this one shot where they angle the camera from, like, where the headboard would be, I think, of the bed. And there's stuff kind of, like, framing it that gets, like, distorted. And it almost looks like dreamy little clouds that are colored when Little Nung's, like, saying some of these lines. So, like, they do kind of make it seem dreamy in a way. Because, like, this is the dream and this is the fantasy bubble because, like, nobody's interrupting them. They're just alone, which is one reason why Big Nung is comfortable enough to be vulnerable. Once other people start and they go in the outside world, like, she starts closing off again. But, like, here, it's, like, the safe space, right?
This is their 72-hour date.
This is their 72-hour date, yeah.
All right, so Little Nung, again, does not want to push Big Nung. And again, she does tell her it's like a dream because this is the biggest dream that come true.
Literally.
And then she asks if she can move in with her.
I'm surprised she didn't lead with that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because she's been asking that since the beginning.
Yeah, like this.
Like, can I move in now?
She has asked this from day one. I'm
from day one.
So, spoiler, even though you probably all finished the show by now. I would hope so.
I hope so.
We do see their first meeting. I'm really surprised she didn't just, like, start off with, hey, can I move in?
Can I move in?
You looking for a roommate?
Are you looking for a wife? What? I was like, who are you? Anyway, yeah, I was like, why didn't she lead with this? I think is really funny. She's like, my girlfriend? No, fine. Can I move in? I'm like, that's bigger than my girlfriend. What? It's so funny.
But Big Nung is more worried about Little Nung leaving her grandmother behind. Because, you know, Big Nung has a lot of grandma issues.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like part of her is like, if Little Nung leaves her grandmother, one, it'll hurt their relationship. Two, what happens if that grandmother dies and she's not there with her? Like, I've fallen and I can't get up. They need a life alert.
Also, like, if they're not dating, what is the excuse for Little Nung moving in permanently? How do you get around that one?
Well, the way you get around that one is by compromising. And they agree that Little Nung can stay over sometimes. And you know that Little Nung heard stay over, not the sometimes.
Correct. No.
But she's like, progress.
It's a process.
Big gay agenda.
Lil Nung's trying to get that key. So that's the process.
I mean, Big Nung didn't really agree. Rather, she knows that even if she said no, Little Nung was just gonna do it anyway. I'm like, I mean, fair. So, like, just like it's better to just agree with the puppy. And then Little Nung is like, I can tell by your tight lips that you want me to stay over every day. Okay, so this brought me to something growing up that was a staple. I don't know how I brought it up in this show coverage yet, but if anyone has seen Pretty Little Liars out there, this scene reminds me of when Allie said, I know you want to kiss me. That is forever ingrained in my mind since they made us watch it at least 50 times over 7 years. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, one episode was like 20 times in a row. Anyway, the way that she says it is like exactly the same. And anyway, Big Nung admits that it is true. Like, you know, you never want to leave the person you love, even if you're not ready to tell them that.
Yes. And then Big Nung does the thing where she's like, she says that's true, and then she does the thing where she like says I want, and she's like tracing her face and her lips and stuff.
That's
before she says it.
Okay. I was confused by my own note because I wrote Big Nung wants Little Nung ×3 to come over every day because I was like, I don't know how to describe what this scene is. God. I'm not very articulate all the time or ever. Anyway. So she says this by running her finger over Little Nung's lips. So I think she was really telling Little Nung's lips that she wants them to come over every day.
Oh my god. That's terrible. The rest of you can stay. No, that's terrible.
Bring your lips to me, please.
I mean, that is what she wants. But also, like you said, Big Nung does. And I like that she did admit it. Like, she did it, you know, of the questions asked, are you my girlfriend? Can I move in? Can I stay over? She does answer one of them pretty directly and in a cute way. But I do want to talk about this whole conversation once we get into the can I stay over? Because it mirrors the conversation they had in the hallway in 102. I'll just kind of refresh your memory. This is the scene where Big Nung's trying to go to work and Little Nung's like, I'm coming with you. And Big Nung says, well, even if I say no, you're going to come anyway, right? And Little Nung's like, yep. And then she like clings onto her until they get to the art stall or whatever. So, because it's the same conversation, right? Where like Big Nung's like, no matter my answer, you're just going to do what you're going to do and you're not going to leave me alone, right? But like Big Nung was more like resigned to the fact this is just what's going to happen versus in this present conversation in 202, same elements, but Big Nung is in a very different place. I mean, they're both in different places, but Little Nung is still respectfully aggressive. So like that didn't change a hell of a lot, but Big Nung did, right? Where she's being honest in this scene with her where she's replying, you'll stay over no matter what I say, because Big Nung is happy that that's going to happen. She's like, regardless of my answer, like, I don't need to be vulnerable here because you're just going to do it and you're going to do what I want, which is come over every day, right? Because she wants to be around Little Nung all the time. She does.
If none of the adults were an aspect of this relationship, she would 100% have Little Nung stay with her.
I think also if the age gap wasn't so in her head too.
Yeah.
Period. And how people would judge them and stuff. Yeah. Basically, they're the only two people on Earth. Well, we didn't have this story. Okay, so here's the deal. Big Nung does love Little Nung's persistence. That's one aspect of her personality that Big Nung's into. And she assumes in the conversation Little Nung is going to spend as much time as possible with her, which makes Big Nung happy because they both want that, but Little Nung is more open about it. But since Little Nung can read Big Nung really well, Little Nung already knows that is also what Big Nung wants. But what Little Nung wants is validation in the form of Big Nung admitting it and saying it out loud. Hence when she said tight lips, what she's saying is she's like, I want you to say it. I know it's what you want, but I just want to hear it because like, I think like, I I think Lil Nung has praise kink or something. Like, what's the thing where it's like words of affirmation? That's one of her like love languages because she never gets it. So she wants it. She wants words of affirmation. She wants to hear from Big Nung, yes, I want to spend all of my time with you, right? Because Little Nung admits it in the conversation. She's like, you and I both know you want me to stay over. And Big Nung gives her the affirmation where she's like, yes, that's true. Like, directly admits it. Comparing that with the hallway scene where Big Nung never admits that she wants Little Nung to come to work with her. But she's saying it now. So this is a big growth moment where Big Nung can actually say exactly the way she feels and exactly express what she wants with words, which is huge. Because usually she does actions, she'll evade questions. And I think Little Nung is thrilled that she didn't exactly have to pull teeth to get an honest confession. So I think it's great. And in this scene, like, Little Nung, although she's pushy, she's much more patient with Big Nung and more empathetic towards the fact that Big Nung processes things, you know, she's learning to open up, which I love that they even depicted that, because that's something that gets glossed over, never addressed. Like, they show that this is a character who learns to open up, and the partner is very patient with that process. So I feel like this whole moment meant a lot to Little Nung because validation, but also, like, Big Nung is making the effort to, like, tell her what she feels, right? Which is, I think, huge.
It's a lot of growth. Like, this relationship has grown so much from the first episode where, you know, Big Nung didn't even know they were in a relationship.
Well, yeah, there's that. Oh, we're in one, are we? Okay. Yeah.
So, but she did not deny it either, so...
Never. She never denied it.
Okay, Big Nung, man. Anyway.
All right. Then we get to the opening credits, and in season 2, this episode is the premiere of Be My Boo by Yoko for the opening credits, which is always stuck in my head. Great job, ma'am. It's a good song.
Is everyone in Thailand a good singer? Is it like Disney Channel over here where you have to be able to act and sing?
I feel like it is, because like a lot of the actors sing the opening credits. At least from what we've seen. Let us know in the comments. I feel like there's a singer-actor to actress pipeline happening. Because I think Yoko used to be, if correct me if I'm wrong, I think Yoko used to be in like a girl pop group kind of thing before she became an actor.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's some pipeline. And then like Phi was not a model. I think she was a model, but she was also like one of those like what do you call it? The beauty pageant winner.
Oh, yeah.
It's Miss Thailand or something. Forgive me, I forget exactly.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I saw. Yeah.
She was like a
pageant queen.
Pageant queen. Couldn't think of the word. Thank you.
There you go. Sorry, that just fully distracted my brain for a second. Okay.
I mean, hydrate for that image.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
She's so hot, it's stupid.
And let's bring it back home with Big Nung.
Literally.
Little Nung home. Because she's really good at it by now. So, Little Nung hasn't been home for a few days. Okay, so she brings Little Nung home, but not to the home that Little Nung wants to be brought home, because she was already at home.
Correct.
So she's bringing him back to the house where she's forced to live. That's where we are right now. So Little Nung hasn't been home for a few days because she has been on this 72-hour date with Big Nung. And, they thought it was only like 4 hours. And the excuse was that she needed to work on a project.
Okay. But I love when the grandmother asks, like, first of all, that's the excuse. But I love when the grandmother asks, did you finish your project? Like, referring to this made-up school project. Meanwhile, like, Little Nung's project that she was actually working on was getting Big Nung back. So when she says, yes, it's all done, like, it made me laugh because I was like, yeah, Little Nung completed the project, which is get the girlfriend she wanted.
I got my girl.
And then, but then Big Nung doesn't know that that's what Little Nung's thinking and keeps going. And basically she's like, yep, she was up real late doing her project last night. And I was just like, hydrate for that sexual innuendo in this conversation in front of the grandmother. Good job, ladies.
They should have went inside and ate mangoes.
I'm pretty sure Little Nung's brain was the only one that went there. And she's like, I was up all night doing my project.
I didn't get that. That's funny. Okay, so Big Nung then apologizes to the grandmother for not telling her that Little Nung would be sleeping at the palace first. And the important thing to notice is that Big Nung looks very uncomfortable having to lie to the grandmother. And you see this multiple times throughout the show. Like, every time a lie is told to this grandmother, she shrinks in a little bit, visibly.
Yeah, I don't think Big Nung likes lying in general. Her go-to is lying by omission, which is where she says nothing. So when you ask her a question where she has an answer, she usually evades the question rather than lie, which is a form of lying. But like directly lying, like she doesn't do that. She's a very blunt person who's not afraid of hurting people's feelings with her words. So like I feel like this is a weird position for her to be in, where she's never had to like lie before. And like Little Nung lies so easily, and so she's being pulled into these lies, and like you said, it clearly makes Big Nung really uncomfortable to be like wrapped up in these lies. But I think in her brain she's like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, I can't be truthful, it would ruin everything. Yeah, so it's like it's a shitty situation for her to like be in.
And she's not allowed to not say anything.
Exactly. She's like, I have to roll with this. You already started the lie, Little Nung. She does it multiple times in this episode where Big Nung's like, I guess I'm roped into this lie now. Yeah, she does not like it.
And then the grandmother makes her feel even more guilty of this by telling her it's okay because she is relieved when Little Nung is with her. Just not with her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that part yet, so. There's a lot going on. As soon as the grandmother goes inside, though,
oh my God,
Little Nung steals a cheek kiss. And I think Big Nung might actually die from panic.
Oh my God.
And
seriously.
she immediately tells her not to do that again. And Little Nung is like, yeah, okay, can I do it just a bit? And she's not asking. And Big Nung knows this as well. So Big Nung sends her inside before she can cause any more gay trouble. Because the big gay audacity that exudes from Little Nung.
I'm sorry. Little Nung's face after she steals the cheek kiss, that face where she's like, oh my God. Like, oh my gosh, she's such a brat sometimes. And I'm fairly convinced that Little Nung wants them to get caught, so she doesn't have to hide the relationship. So like, if you notice, anytime Little Nung does something like this, Big Nung will afterwards physically distance them. So if you notice when they go walk in the house, like she pushes Little Nung to go and then she like waits and then goes in after her, because I think Little Nung is trying to out them. It's, you know.
She's like, if people find out themselves, then I can move things a little quicker.
Right.
And we don't have to do it.
Right. And like, also like on the other hand, like Little Nung just really doesn't want to hide the way she feels ever. And then she's trying to be like, I love in this conversation where she's like, well, last night. And Big Nung's like, do not talk about last night. For your grandmother's right there. Oh my God. The audacity of this bitch.
She wants to sing dress right now.
Right now. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm saying if you gave her the mic, she would start singing it. And her grandmother would be like, what? But Big Nung would be dying of embarrassment in the corner.
And she'd be like, I don't know about this, huh? Okay. I guess I can groove to it.
I guess dresses do have to come off. That is what happens with clothing.
Who is this Taylor Swift? Swift? Okay, so the nuns have afternoon, maybe, what is time?
I don't know time.
Tea with the grandmother. And
we don't know.
As Big Nung is sipping her tea, Little Nung asks the grandmother if she can stay at the palace for another night. She just got home.
Literally.
To her house, where she's supposed to live.
And she's already like, can I leave? It's like been 5 minutes. What do you mean?
And Big Nung is drinking the tea as she is saying this. And I really thought that this was going to end in a Big Nung spit take.
Literally.
Because she's like, we just got back here. Why are you asking to stay with me again? And the grandmother's response is that Little Nung has already bothered Big Nung enough. To which Little Nung comes up with the perfect excuse. The palace is close to her university and she has to study tonight. She doesn't want to be late tomorrow. She can't manage her time.
Because she has an exam. That's what's different. She's like, well, my exam is tomorrow. I don't want to be late for the big test.
How convenient.
How convenient.
And Big Nung is once again visually uncomfortable with this lying. And I'm surprised the grandmother doesn't pick up on it. Like,
I mean, literally. Pure ignorance is a hell of a drug.
One hell of a drug. Anyway. So the grandmother does what every adult in Little Nung's life does. And basically says, ask Big Nung.
Right.
She's like, all right, cool. I get to do whatever I want when I have to ask Big Nung. Right. So Big Nung is most likely dying on the inside and is thinking, don't put me in the middle of this. Because everyone puts her in the middle. Like, this isn't her child. This isn't her responsibility. You guys be parents. Like,
also, like, how awkward is this going to be when the relationship eventually comes out? To be like, yeah, she stayed over at my house to study for an exam. Like, air quotes. And they're going to be like, wait, what?
Scenes once they find out. Like, we needed more of that.
I know. Literally.
Okay, but Little Nung flashes her puppy dog smile.
She's such a brat.
What else is Big Nung supposed to do besides accept it? Like, also, you're telling Little Nung to ask Big Nung right in front of her. So, like, anybody would be like, what else am I supposed to say? Like, you're putting me on the spot here. Obviously, Big Nung wants her to be there and everything, so it's not the same situation. But still, don't put people in the middle of things.
I know, it's fucked up.
Yeah. So, Big Nung says it is fine, but, she does not look so sure. She's like, oh, I just need the situation to be over. I don't know how to get out of this.
Yeah. Because, like, again, Little Nung knows Big Nung wants her to stay, but, like, she's like, now we're creating this web of lies to where you're staying over, and, like, it's going to be a mess when it unravels. But do yourself a favor and go back and watch the scene when Little Nung turns and flashes the smile at Big Nung. The background sound effects that happen when she does this sent my brain to 23.5, and I was waiting for that meow noise. Like, anytime Sun would smile in 23.5, the same sound effect would go, and then they'd have the meow. So I was, like, waiting for it, and it never happened. Thank you, Blake. But that has scarred me from that particular noise from now on. You're welcome if you didn't notice that, but I cannot unhear it when I hear it.
The animal sounds, though, that are used as sound effects in shows, though.
So funny.
It takes me out of it, but it makes me laugh at the same time.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think we've gotten used to the sound effects because that was like a big draw, like when we started Gap, that we had to get used to.
It's just different.
But it's...
now I'm like, where is it? It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Like, where's the birds? Theora, what bird is it?
Don't worry, there's a bird. I will shout out the bird in this episode.
The grandmother twists the knife once more and reiterates that she is relieved when Little Nung is with her rather than her friends, and asks Big Nung to keep an eye on her. Big Nung's gonna keep an eye on her, all right. She is gonna keep an eye on everything.
And Little Nung knows that.
Yes, and Little Nung is happy because she got what she wants. Again.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go back for a second for the line that probably gave Big Nung the most guilt. When the grandmother says, I feel relieved when Little Nung is with you more than her friends. Like, that smug, seductive look that Little Nung gives while the grandmother is saying this, like, poor Big Nung. Like, please insert the song I Knew You Were Trouble right here.
I knew you were
trouble when you walked into my art stall. Yeah. Like, okay, because she's so racked with guilt that here's, like, Little Nung being, like, openly flirtatious and seductive in front of her grandmother. And it's like, a poor Big Nung. I feel so bad for her. And so it's just a conflict of very different emotions happening in her, and she's trying to, like, keep a straight face and keep it together. But, like, Little Nung does not make it easy for her to ever do these things.
No, and this is a lot for her right now. Like, she wasn't even able to admit that they're girlfriends last night, and now we're with the grandmother, and this girl's singing dress in front of her grandmother.
Right? That's literally the scene, and Big Nug's like, holy fuck. Like,
is about to hyperventilate from panic. She needs to just get out of there, but
literally,
she also doesn't want to leave Little Nug. Like, she wants to spend all her time with her, but like this might kill her right now.
Yes.
Then the Nungs arrive back at the palace because Little Nug got the permission to stay at the palace. Why did they even bother coming back? First of all,
this is Big Nug's fault.
Like, they have phones in this universe. They really Little Nug should have just called and was like, here, talk to Big Nug.
We don't do enough of, like, using technology in these shows. It's fine.
No, especially this one.
Well, I guess it's, like, polite to go have tea with the grandmother and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess about that.
Yeah, I guess so.
But the scene that we talked about in the other episode where, like, Big Nug shows up at the school to talk to folk, like, that could have been a phone call. I don't know why she's at the school. That was weird. A weird choice. So she could accidentally run to Nug.
The mom could have video chatted more with her daughter.
And maybe we wouldn't be here. If Pinkfa picked up the phone once in a while. Anyway, back at the Blue Palace.
Yeah. So the first order of business when they get to the palace is to properly introduce Nim to Little Nug. As she is introducing Little Nug, she pauses after saying she is. And poor Little Nug looks so hopeful that the next word out of her mouth would be girlfriend. And, like, she also has big gay delusion as well. Like,
yes.
Again, Big Nug was not able to even tell you privately last night. Like, this is a lot that's going on, and it's happening very quickly. So Big Nug gay panics again and says that she's Pinkfa's daughter and Pinkfa is her friend. So she doesn't even introduce Little Nug as her friend.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is the very least she could do. Like, I get there's an age gap, but I feel like friendships are very different from a relationship, and that would have been okay. Like, something that's more than my friend's daughter.
Right. Because, again, that separates them by, 1 degree by phrasing it that way.
It's just, I feel bad for Little Nug right now.
Yeah. All right. So, let's get into this. So, I think with Big Nug, it's, obviously, saying, labeling Little Nug as my girlfriend is just too much, okay? I think why she didn't say friend is because it's unbelievable because of their age gap. I think to the average person in this culture that they're because remember the grandmother freaked out, was like, you can't be friends, you're too old. So I think it's kind of, she's panicking obviously, and Big Nug doesn't lie and is not good at lying, as you can see in this scene. She's not good at it because she doesn't do it, but Little Nug is forcing her into lying to cover all their bases, right? So, but also this is a bullshit lie, because then she says, oh, my friend Pinkfa, right? And Auntie Nim, who's known the bitch forever, is like, bitch, you ain't got lies. You got friends. What do you mean? You don't have any friends? This is already suspicious. Also, Auntie Nim saw this bitch drunk in the house, yesterday or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm okay. So I think Auntie Nim was not buying this, number one. So there's that. But then what does she say? She says, why is Little Nug staying there? Her university is closed. She has an exam in the morning. I'm worried she'll be late. That is literally verbatim what Little Nug lied to her grandmother about, right? So she's again, being coerced into lying now because she took Little Nug's lead on this situation and is now, I guess, we're just lying to everybody we care about. Because Auntie Nim is the closest thing that Big Nug has to a mother figure, a grandmother figure, a paternal figure. So Little Nug's lying to her paternal figure, and now Big Nug's lying to hers, and it's she didn't even want to be here, and now she's I guess we're just lying to everybody, I guess.
Basically, this relationship is making Big Nug into someone she doesn't want to be right now.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Do you want to say this next one?
I mean, I butchered it. I guess. Okay, so originally I wrote, Auntie Nim has been running the palace since Kun Pin lived here. And side note, how amazing would it be if Jim and Prick met each other in real life?
Oh, Jim and Prick. I would love that. Oh my god, I want to see that.
Can you imagine the shenanigans?
Just do like a TikTok of something of doing the two characters.
Like side by side.
Like that would be so funny.
I agree.
Anyway. So the puppy has been kicked. And she's about to get kicked again because Big Nung asked Nim to set up a bedroom for her. And Little Nung is like, what the hell? I have already spent the night in your bed before. And at least that's what her face looks like. I mean, also, things are different now. Also, like,
Auntie Nim also just knows that. Because, again, remember, Big Nung lying, again, horribly, was like, oh yeah, she'll stay on the sofa. And then there was no evidence that this woman stayed in a sofa, and Big Nung's room's the only room that needed cleaning the next day. So, like, Auntie Nim already knows this is bullshit. So, like, Big Nung lying makes no sense. Because Auntie Nim's like, okay, whatever. There's that. But why does Big Nung suggest this in the first place? I think she's trying really hard to, like, conform to the rules of the palace to evade suspicion, because per the protocol from the other night, like, if a guest is here, they're supposed to stay in a room. There's plenty of guest rooms, right? That's why Auntie Nim came out the other time. She's like, oh, I'm going to prepare a room for your guests. And Big Nung's like, no, she's going to sleep on the sofa. It's fine. And then never slept on the sofa. And Auntie Nim's like, okay, this is suspicious. So there's that. And then the other read from Big Nung is that, yeah, like I said, she's taking the lead from Little Nung and trying to, like, just keep going with the lie, you know? And it's just, poor Big Nung. I feel really bad for her because she's like, she's not good at lying. I don't think she likes it. And then Little Nung, it's been such a ingrained defense mechanism for her. I feel like she doesn't think anything of it. And I don't think, like, lying about this relationship, like, bothers her. I think what bothers Little Nung is she's like, I just want to sing Dress in public. And, like, she's like, I'm just so excited and proud of this that, like, I don't want to hide it. It's not that, like, the lying bothers her. She's just like, I don't want to hide my feelings for you, kind of thing.
They're in two different places right now. And
correct. When it comes to, like, the lying, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the feelings are the same. We're just not able to communicate that right now.
Correct.
So Big Nung then shows Little Nung the library. And Big Nung likes to go there all the time. She is a book gay.
She's such a nerd. It's so cute. She's like, this is my favorite room, the room with the books, which is really cute and nerdy, and I love it. She's like a smart student and stuff, so, like, this makes sense. But can we talk about the books in the library? Okay. The complete Twilight collection is in there, Big Nung. Like, really? What's that doing in there? Of all the books, why is Twilight in there?
That's her guilty pleasure.
It definitely is. I think it's her guilty pleasure.
Didn't we talk about how it was, like, songs books or something? Or, like, and then Song bought them, or, like, someone bought them, and then...
No, your theory was that Song wanted them, Sam bought them as the people pleaser for Song, and then Nung is the one that read them multiple times.
Oh, got it. That tracks. Okay.
And I love how it's, like, I think because she spends all this time in here, and it's embarrassing, but she also want to throw out those books, she splits them up on they're not together, like, the collection, like, they're on different, like, shelves and stuff, so, like, if you don't know that that's the complete collection, you wouldn't put that together, but they're, like, scattered. I'm like, Nung, what are you doing?
That's her way of hiding her truth.
Right, she's hiding it in plain sight. That's my headcanon. And you know Little Nung is smart. She's like, okay. Mm-hmm. Questionable taste in books. If you're huge into Twilight, I'm not trying to knock you. I read all the books also, but, like, I just love that she has them in this library that she loves. Because if she didn't want them there, she'd get rid of them. But there they are.
So, Big Nung read the books. Little Nung watched the movies for Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. Because understandable, because Kristen Stewart makes them gay.
So I've heard. Okay. So, once again, Little Nung proves to be the best, not a girlfriend, and says she understands, but it doesn't mean she isn't sad about it. I think I just skipped over your thing.
You definitely did.
I'm so sorry, Theora. I got really distracted by our conversation about Twilight. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. We're a lot. I skipped over so much.
I was gonna say, where are you, Kaitlynn? We're not there yet.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I am
fucking Twilight.
It is hot in here. And Twilight made it hotter, apparently.
Oh no! Like hell.
Oh my god. Okay. So, Big Nung tells Little Nung that she can read whatever she wants. But that isn't what Little Nung wants to hear right now. Big Nung is trying to find the words to say, but Little Nung says that she knows what she's going to say. And Little Nung says she thinks she's going to say that she isn't ready for people to know about them. And she doesn't want her to move in yet. And this is like the worst thing Little Nung could hear right now. And she doesn't really want Big Nung to say it. But she knows that's what she's thinking.
Yeah. What I love in this conversation is like, while like Big Nung's body language is really interesting during this particular scene. Like when she pulls Little Nung, you know, she says like Nung, and then Little Nung comes near her. And like if you watch Big Nung's body language, she's very like, she's making herself smaller. Like she's very hunched, her head's hanging low, and it's like almost like she's cowering. And because I think she's worried about Little Nung's reaction to her actual feelings. Because remember, Big Nung grew up in the conceal don't feel environment where you never tell anybody how you feel because you don't want them to use it against you. And which is the self-preservation thing from season 1 Big Nung. But now that we're in season 2 Big Nung, she's worried how Little Nung's gonna feel if she expresses her feelings, which is new. So she's like, I'm gonna give her bad news. I'm afraid it's gonna hurt her. So like you can see the way like Big Nung is like kind of afraid of the news she's about to deliver. And what's really interesting is this whole body language is submissive body language, which is very atypical for Big Nung. So to me, it's almost like she's trying to convey with her body language that she's not trying to overpower Little Nung or hurt her with this truth. And I also think part of Big Nung is ashamed of this truth a little bit. So like her body language is, it's giving Little Nung all the power in the conversation, even though like Big Nung is the one speaking or about to speak, which is interesting. Yeah.
And Little Nung reluctantly says that she understands like how Big Nung is feeling, but it doesn't mean that she's not sad about it, because like her wants is just something that Big Nung is not able to give her right now. And Big Nung hugs her from behind and says she doesn't feel good about it either. And right. I just want them to be happy, man!
They will. It's a process. It's a process.
I know, but I can want them to be happy now, Theora.
They get their happy moments. Okay, so like watch how this goes. So like Little Nung, again, they're both being honest about the way they feel, which is great. And nobody's like evading things, and like it's really good because they're in this is I think this room might be like Big Nung is one of her safe spaces in the house. So it's also really interesting that she chose the library, her personal sanctuary that's not her room, to have this conversation. This is her safe space in the house, which I love. So when she does the hug from behind and Big Nung's like, I don't feel good about this either, because like as we said, like you can see Big Nung does not lying. She doesn't love lying about this relationship. She's just, you know, worried about all the things that come with it, all the strings, right? Which is valid. So when she does the hug from behind, Little Nung's face dirty is something to be happy about, because it goes from mad to, oh my god, she's hugging me, to like fighting this smile. And like, because like Big Nung is being honest. She's being like, I don't want to hide this relationship either, but like we are where we are with all the bullshit. And then so she does this thing where she's getting happy, and then she's like, no, wait, I have to look sad, so she'll keep hugging me. So she'll keep hugging me. It's so funny. Go back and watch her face dirty. It's amazing. And then once Little Nung realizes in the hug she's in charge of this conversation, you see her like get mischievous, and like Yoko does this thing where like one of her eyebrows jumps up like, I got an idea. And then she turns around and like flips the script and does like the little puppy dog face. And then what does she do, Kaitlynn?
Little Nung says to not make her wait too long, because she wants the world to know about them. Again, cue dress.
Again, she's basically saying, I want to sing dress in public. And like, Big Nung. I would love to see Nung's reaction to that. I think it would be hilarious.
Little Nung's go-to karaoke song is Dress.
It's gonna be Dress. And I think it's one of those things where, like, she pulls Big Nung on stage with her, and she's trying to, like, serenade her, and, like, Big Nung keeps trying to leave, and Little Nung keeps, like, holding her. I imagine that's how that would actually go down. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Okay, but let's keep going with this, because so she says don't wait too long. She's got her arms around Big Nung's, like, neck, right? And after Little Nung says, don't make me wait too, and she's doing the pouty thing to, like, because she thinks she has all the power in this moment, right? She's trying to, like, be seductive, and it works. So then Big Nung hears that and does something I don't think Little Nung's expecting, where she has her arms around Little Nung's waist and pulls Little Nung, like, closer to her. Like, she's trying to take back control of the conversation. And Little Nung's surprised for, like, 1 second before she's like, wait, no, I'm in charge of this flirting session. What the hell, Big Nung? And then what does Big Nung say?
Big Nung says that she is the one who wants the world to know that she is only hers. And,
like, again, Yoko, how do you not die during these scenes? I don't understand. How did you not die during this scene? Ma'am. Okay. Because if you watch closely, Little Nung is losing her shit at this particular thing, because this is what Little Nung wanted to hear. That, like, again, that's what she wants to hear. And if you watch her really closely and Big Nung's doing that intense staring thing where it's like you're the only person in the world. If you watch Little Nung, she keeps opening her mouth and leaning forward. Like, she's actively fighting the urge to, like, launch herself at Big Nung's face. And I can guarantee you her mind went straight to the gutter, which is why she then asks, right after this, why are we sleeping in separate bedrooms? Like, that's where her brain goes next. So I'm pretty sure she's like, wow, this is a turn on. What do you mean? Wait, she's like, crap, we're in different rooms. Why are we in different rooms? You can't say shit like this to me and then make me sleep in another room. And Big Nung's like, don't worry. No, Big Nung's like, don't worry. I will come to your room later. I'm not going to let you sleep in the palace by yourself. That's insane. I'm just keeping up appearances. And Little Nung looks relieved because now she's like, great, I can live out all these sexy daydreams playing in my brain right now. And I do love the way she toys with Big Nung in this scene, because and teasing is her foreplay, because then Big Nung's like, okay, well, I'm going to kiss you now because you kept doing the things. I was watching you and I'm going to try and kiss you. So she, like, leans in and, like, Little Nung kind of, like, lets her and then, like, slowly pulls back. And she's like, I should go look at books now, and, like, leaves Big Nung unread. And it's so funny because, like, poor Big Nung was like, what just happened? What just happened? Like, what a bitch. It's so funny.
Little Nung knows how to be mischievous, and it's cute, adorable, and so entertaining to watch.
It's so entertaining, like, because she's like, I do have all the power over, because, like, think about it, the entire show, like, she's been fighting tooth and nail to just get some kind of crumb of affection from Big Nung. Now she has all of the affection, and she's like, I'm gonna savor the power I have over you, because I wasn't sure if I had power over you, and now I do have power over you to leave you wanting and all this stuff. And, like, again, I'm sure she read this in a novel, and she's like, I'm gonna try this out, see how it works. And it worked. Poor Big Nung. She's like, God damn it, what the hell? She's like, yep, everything's normal. Look at books, it's fine. Poor Big Nung.
But after Little Nung says, look at all these books, Big Nung tells her to make sure she reads them all because there are so many to choose. And, like, I'm really hoping she's talking about the titles, because we'll be here forever if she has to read every single book.
You know what I think actually happens in this? Because Little Nung looks at her, she's like, what the hell are you talking about? I think Big Nung's brain also went to the sexy daydreams, and she didn't know what to say in this moment. She's like, read books, read all the books. And, like, Little Nung's like, are you okay? Because you're just coughing and saying weird nonsense over there. I think she was so flustered by the teasing that she didn't know what the hell she was saying. And she was like, trying to keep it cool. And Little Nung's like, I'm not reading all this stuff. You got Twilight on here. What do you mean? I think that was a panic lie. She doesn't know what she's doing.
It's like, can you read this one to me?
Well, that's why Little Nung's like, let me pick the sexiest book on the shelf. Help me read it. Again. I love it.
Okay, so then we move on with Little Nung's palace tour, because she's only seen Big Nung's bed at this point. I mean, and the entryway, but she doesn't remember that because she was really drunk and screaming.
Never forget. Never forget. Yeah, exactly. She actually hasn't seen the palace in daylight either.
So They first stop in front of Sam's room, and Big Nung tells her that she can't go in, even if it isn't locked. This is a weird conversation.
I know. It's funny.
So Little Nung's like, I have manners, and not gonna randomly go in other people's rooms. Unless it's Big Nung's.
Well, that's because Big Nung's room is her room, so, like, she's like, that's my room, so I'm gonna go in there.
But even the first time she went to... Oh, wait, no, that was the art room. No, she went in, but I think she was getting changed. Anyway, she would definitely go in. Just Big Nung.
Just Big Nung.
Yeah.
Big Nung.
Big Nung.
Big Nung.
So then Little Nung points to another door and asks whose room it is. And then all life seems like it is drained from Big Nung, and she says that it's Song's room. And Little Nung does not sense the tone shift in the scene and asks why she has never seen her other sister. And then Little Nung realizes she opened a can of worms when she is told she is not alive anymore. And that's when she's like, foot, insert mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Little Nung starts apologizing for bringing it up, but Big Nung assures her that it's okay and she didn't know, because how could you know? And then during this conversation, Little Nung takes Big Nung's hand and holds it. It is not until Nim interrupts them that Big Nung abruptly drops her hand. And Little Nung is sad for both of them at this point. Because, like, she wants to be connected with her. But then the outside world comes in and shatters it all once again.
Yeah, and what a moment to do it in, because also, like, how did you not pick up she had another sister? It's 1 and 3. You never wondered where's 2? Like, you never wondered that ever? We're just like, oh, okay, I guess. Your parents,
yeah, no, I was like, randomly. You would think, because she's definitely a type of person to have, like, these random thoughts that she just says out loud.
Right.
So she would definitely be thinking about, like, she sees Sam one day, like, when she realizes who she is. And be like, young Sam. Do you have a dog named Song?
Yeah, who's Song?
Something? Like,
is there a 2? Is there a 4? Is there a 5?
Do you just do everything in odds? Maybe no evens?
That's what I meant. Or are they super into, like, odds? Anyway, regardless of that math. So, like you said, when Big Nung gets to Song's room, she's clearly upset. And I think Little Nung does pick up on the fact that she's sad pretty quickly after she, like, starts answering questions. But when Auntie Nim calls, and it's Big Nung is the one that drops Little Nung's hand, and then goes from being somber looking to puts her mask on and looks stoic immediately. It's like being like, everything's fine, Auntie Nim. And I think part of what's sad here is that if you watch, Little Nung is watching Big Nung when she, like, does this pivot to address Auntie Nim and be like, thanks for preparing the room or whatever. Like, she goes into, like, Queen of the House mode. I think it's hard for Little Nung to watch just how quickly Big Nung is able to shove aside her own feelings for the sake of appearances. Like, that's what she's watching her do in real time, and it takes less than a second for Big Nung to be sad and then emotionless. Like, and she's watching it happen. And I think that's also heartbreaking for Little Nung to see how easily Big Nung does that.
It's just... I mean, when she steps into the palace, she's stepping more into Big Nung's world.
Yeah, for sure. And Little Nung
she can't realize what's happening until she is in this world. And it's hard for her to understand because she doesn't have to live like that. I mean, she just lies to get out of everything in her world. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's heartbreaking. And then, like, I think it gives context to why Big Nung is so guarded with her feelings. Like, look how she has to act in her own house. Like, this is supposed to be her house, and, like, look how she has to behave. Like, that's hard to watch your partner go through that, you know?
Yeah.
So
moving on with the tour, Little Nung is then shown the room that was made up for her. And Little Nung says... Okay, so basically Little Nung's complaining. And she says that she doesn't come often, and asks why she can't just stay with Big Nung. Because it's not getting through her that she needs her own room to keep up appearances. And Big Nung's like, you cannot, because you're here as a guest. and it would be weird because that's not something you do.
Yeah, guests stay in their own rooms. But Little Nung tries to push Big Nung further along in the relationship by being like, but I'm not your guest, right? In your brain. I need to at least know in your brain, I'm not actually your guest. And Big Nung gives her this look back, like, where she's like, doesn't say anything, but she's basically gives her this look where she's like, yeah, you're definitely not my guest. I know you're not, but like, we're in the palace. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. And Little Nung thought that the palace was going to be their safe zone where they can just be themselves and not have to hide from people. But she's not used to there being a lot of help around. And, you know, well, it's always going to be a closet for a little while.
Well, the thing is, like, I think where Little Nung's coming from is, like, when Big Nung had her own apartment, that was a safe space. Mm-hmm. Like, they could just be themselves. Because it's, like, it was literally just the two of them. There weren't house staff. But again, that's, like, fantasy versus reality. Now, in reality, where these two have to exist as part of the real world, and Big Nung has to, like, part of that is Big Nung's title, her status, this house, Little Nung's family, all of that stuff. That's reality. So, like, now they're trying to navigate reality. And Little Nung's like, where can we just be us, you know, and be okay? I thought at least your place would be the place where we could do that. But it seems like it's not the whole palace. It's sections of the palace. And Big Nung's like, listen, if you have complaints about the palace rules, take it up with the bitches from the Loyal Pin that are haunting this place. Just talk to them.
Oh my gosh.
The ghost of Prick.
See, the thing is, a Nin would tell her, well, you had to build your own palace so you could do
like,
it.
This is
like,
not the place.
That was your first mistake.
Also, you need a trusty sidekick like Prick. Also mistake number 2.
Yes. Go get Jim!
Go get Jim! Yeah, Jim's right there. She's not doing anything, let's be honest.
But Big Nung does try to make things better and says that Little Nung can do whatever she wants in the room. And like, this is too much power to give Little Nung, because she just gave her a whole cookie cake. So the Little Nung's gonna come up with something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cue the next scene.
Oh god, this scene. The Nungas go to the Thai equivalent of Best Buy to buy Little Nung her first podcasting mic. And I just want to note, I spent an embarrassing amount of time trying to figure out where this was. Like, I spent hours on Google Maps going through photos.
Why?
Because I wanted to be able to say, this is where they are. And I was just, first of all, I learned a lot about malls over there.
Oh my god. Okay.
Like, there's one that used to be, like, so huge, and now it's basically a ghost town. Like, and there's, like, a couple stores open. It's insane. And some kind of looked like this, but nothing was perfect. And I'm hoping that this is an actual location and not just a set that I wasted so much time on.
Oh my god,
Kaitlynn. This is how I get distracted while doing notes.
Anyway, so back to the scene. So thank you, Kaitlynn, for that detective work. That was not necessary, but I hope it brought you satisfaction.
No! I didn't learn anything that was relevant to this episode! It was a dead end, and I'm sad that I couldn't figure it out, but I knew if I spent more time on it, I wouldn't finish it, and then we'd be here again. Okay, anyway, continue.
So let's talk about the scene. So first of all, Big Nung, as we've established in other scenes, in other episodes, is somebody who hates shopping. Okay, she's the partner that you bring to the mall, and she's bored as fuck the whole time, and usually complains and sits out in the corner. She's that person. And we've seen her do this with Sam. Remember when Sam's like, I'm gonna buy you a dress for that event, and Nung's like, pick out whatever the hell you want. I'm not helping you shop for me. Whatever I wear is beautiful, so I don't need to pick something. Remember? So Sam went in the store, was like, what would Taylor Swift buy? And like, that's how we got the dress from that episode. So she did that with Sam. And then Juan Viva's trying to go through like all the she's looking for shoes or whatever. And Mung's like, we've been to 5 stores. Can we stop? Who cares? Just buy shoes. What are you doing? So she hates shopping. But here she is with Little Nung. They're in the store. And Little Nung's like, I think this is the one I want. And Big Nung's like, test out all the microphones. We can go to as many stores as you want. Make sure you get the one that you want. So like, oh my God, the way she like pivots and does a 180.
Big Nung is ready to spend the day in this mall. She's like, we will figure out, we'll test all the speakers as well, get you headphones. Maybe we need to soundproof your room too. She's gonna buy a whole sound booth. Can Big Nung buy us sound booths? Because that would be amazing.
I would love that. But, like, I mean, she's just such a goner that she's like, I hate doing this activity, but if it's what you want, we will spend all day here. Make sure you get what you want. I think Lil Nung's just using this as an excuse to go out in public with Big Nung, to be honest.
She's like, okay, I gotta try this one out too. But how do you test mics out? Because it's like you can't really test a mic out.
I mean, I guess you could if they have it hooked up to computers and, like, you can look at the waveforms or specs. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway.
I like that she picks the ones that lights up in rainbow colors. And Lil like, this one looks cool. I mean, you're right, but,
she knew exactly the one she wanted. Right. And maybe Big Nung also wanted to be out in public with her in a way that gave them an actual excuse where they did not have to lie.
That's what I mean.
So she's don't forget that you can try out all of them.
Right. I think this was an excuse for both parties to just be out in public with each other. I think that's what this was. Because Little Nung's like, I already know what I want. I ordered it on Amazon already. I'm just wanting to go in public with
you. But then someone shows up. And Little Nung is... Little Nung's gonna kill a bitch. Anyway, so Juan Viva shows up. And again, as we mentioned earlier, I swear this woman never stops shopping.
I also swear she's not actually a doctor. I think she's a secret shopper. Because the bitch is always shopping. At this point, we're 3 episodes into Affair, the series. Even then, as a child, the bitch is always shopping. Like, she has a shopping problem. She's a shopaholic.
Honestly, I could see it because those shops are so freaking random. Yeah. That, like... And you go, oh my gosh, the tasks are so random too. So that's a plausible deniability for her shopping addiction.
A secret shopper? Yeah, I agree. So, but Little Nung has every right to be threatened and pissed off in the scene because what does Juan Viva do? Juan Viva notices them, mostly Big Nung, and immediately gravitates to Big Nung and clings to Big Nung's arm right in front of Little Nung. And Big Nung looks over to Little Nung like, I'm in trouble. I'm in so much trouble. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. Like, she's already like, fuck. God damn it, Juan Viva.
Even though she did nothing. Like, Juan
literally, she's just like, the bitch is on my arm. This is not good.
But Juan Viva's like, oh my gosh, is this destiny that I'm running into you at the mall? No, you're just there every day.
You're always at the mall!
So you're gonna see every single person you know there.
Does she say that to, like, people who work at the mall? Is it Destiny, Auntie Anne's worker? Like, bitch, you were here 5 minutes ago. What do you mean?
Is it Destiny that there's a hospital in this mall?
Oh my god, yeah, followed us. Mall hospital? I swear to god.
/ airport.
Most random location of all times. Go listen to those reactions if you want to learn more. The Secret of Us, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, back to the show. It's so easy to put all these shows together.
I know, it's amazing.
Anyway, so Little Nung looks very uncomfortable right now because she is jealous in all caps.
So jealous. Yes.
Big Nung's just like, I don't know what the hell to do. She's like, what do I do in this situation? Like, there's no good solution right now. I just also, need her to leave.
Also, like, let us recall the last time they were at the mall together with Juan Viva was doing the shopping, and Big Nung's like, get off my arm, and Juan Viva's like, stop being hard to get. Like, she won't even listen when Big Nung says don't do that. So it's like, Big Nung's like, I don't know what to do anymore. This
is another Little Nung. Like,
yes.
I don't know what to do with this.
Oh my god.
I have not figured out how to tell someone no and have them listen.
Speaking of respectfully aggressive, so is Juan Viva and Little Nung are very similar personality-wise. Yes, so, like,
very, very
it's
similar.
Big Nung in the middle, again, right? She's like,
yeah.
Am I always in the middle of this shit?
Yeah, and then... Sorry. Juan Viva makes it even worse by asking Big Nung if she's bringing her niece here to shop. This is the worst thing Juan Viva could say. But also, this should make Little Nung feel better because it means that Juan Viva does not actually really know Big Nung, because even if Sam did have a kid, like, they would not be as old as Little Nung. It's like, I really don't understand why she thinks that this could be her niece. Like,
it's because the words mean different things. Okay, so in Western language, a niece means they're directly blood related to me, whereas in Thailand, which is a monoculture, like, it's not a heterogeneous group of people, it's like one group, right? So, like, there's more pride in being Thai, right? Everybody's like, they use words like niece, auntie, because they're all like, you know, one nation, one people kind of thing. So, like, she's saying niece, meaning like younger Thai girl is what she's saying. She's not saying your sister's like daughter. That's not what she's saying. So she's saying a young girl is all that means. It's just it's a way of speaking respectfully and like seeing each other as family. That's just the language they use with each other. In America, everybody's ethnically diverse and nobody sees themselves really, we're not truly a united anything, so there is no respectful language to be like, I
despite our country's name, we are not united.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. But like, I think the closest thing you can come to that is like saying ma'am, sir. Like, it's like Southern people do that in the South, like as a sign of respect for the other people. It's kind of like that, but it's just saying like a younger girl. Like,
now I feel stupid.
That's all it means. It doesn't mean Sam's daughter.
I'm just a dumbass. All right, well, continuing. So
it's okay, because like literally I had the same reaction to you the first time I heard this. I was like, that's so cringy that she just said that, but she's literally just saying young girl is all she's saying. But which again, like, is cringy in its own right, because Little Nung is being infantilized in the conversation. She's like not calling her an adult, she's calling her a young girl. So like, I think this is what makes Little Nung also enraged, because it's, again, separating her from Big Nung, like, socially in the conversation, and, like, making Little Nung more threatened, versus I'm sure she wants to be like, that's my girlfriend, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, she's being, like, put in the corner by Juan Viva labeling her that way, in a way.
And Big Nung doesn't do anything to correct the situation and bring Juan Viva up to speed, even just a little bit. Again, we don't even do the this is my friend.
Right. And we don't do the get off my arm thing either. Like, Big Nung, it doesn't really do much in this conversation.
Yeah. Instead, she tells her that Little Nung wants to start a podcast, so they are getting a microphone. And this is when Little Nung rolls her eyes, and her patience is getting so thin. Oh my Honestly, God, yes. This woman is encroaching in her territory now, and Big Nung's not doing anything to dissuade. I think that's right.
Yeah. You're right. Dissuade
Juan Viva's actions right now.
Yep.
Like, it's one thing not to be ready to tell people about them. It's another thing to make it seem like she is nothing to her. And that is what Big Nung is repeatedly doing, and that is more insulting than not telling people. Yeah, again, tell her that you're her friend, or something that's closer to friend than I found this random person that wants to start a podcast.
Yeah.
So Juan Viva tells Little Nung that she's going to listen to the podcast. And I'm sure that Little Nung is thinking that you're not welcomed here.
Right. I agree.
Because when she says thank you, that was anything but genuine.
No.
And then we also cut to Big Nung, who can tell she messed up.
Oh, yeah. And then it gets awkward, and I think Juan Viva was like, this is awkward. So she's like, well, I think I'm gonna go now, because this is weird, because I have a meeting later. And it's like, meeting with who? Sam, who also is never at work? Like, I'm not convinced she really has a job, because the bitch is always shopping. I'm like, what do you mean? Anyway, I think she was trying to get out of there.
I hope in a fair we see her work.
I know, for real. I'm convinced she doesn't. But anyway.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so Juan Viva leaves as quick as she came because she was only there to make things worse, and tells Big Nung that if she wants to go out for a drink, to call her.
Call me maybe. Long takes that phone and throws it off the balcony. You're calling nobody.
Do you think that Juan Viva knows and is trying to get Big Nung to say something and open up?
I definitely think she picks up on shit, because Little Nug is not covert in her pissed offness in the scene. Like, she's not even, like, feigning politeness, like, in this scene. And Big Nung looks shifty as fuck. So I think that's why at one point Juan Viva's like, oh, I'm gonna go now because something's happening here and I shouldn't be involved. Yeah, I think she definitely picks. This is when she starts putting more of the pieces together because, like, this girl keeps showing up. She was at the art gallery opening. Like, she keeps showing up. So I think Juan Viva is starting to put it together, and she's like, Big Nung hates shopping. I have to, like, feed her in order to get her to come shopping with me. And here she is voluntarily shopping with this young girl.
And there's no food involved.
At an electronics store. The bitch is not good at technology. So something weird is going on here. And this girl looks like she wants to fight me. So I think she's more like, there's something happening here. Because they're alone, like, you know.
Yeah. But if Big Nung didn't already know she was in trouble, she certainly would after that look that Little Nung gave her at the end.
Oh, yeah. The murder stare? Yes.
You do not want to be on the receiving end of that look.
No, not that murder stare.
Yeah. So Little Nung then immediately leaves the store, causing Big Nung having to go after her. And then Big Nung has the audacity. She gets the big gay audacity to ask her what's wrong. What do you think is wrong, Big Nung?
Wait a minute. Did you just invent a new award? The Big Gay Audacity Award? The Big Gay Audacity Award. Little Nung. And Big Nung in this scene. Oh my god, yeah. What's wrong?
All right, so Big Gay Audacity is now the subset award for Big Gay Energy.
Yeah, the Big Audacity Award goes to Big Nung, being big oblivious. Oh dear.
So Little Nung asked her if she went out to drinks with the doctor again, because it makes it seem like Juan Viva goes out with her all the time.
Yeah.
And Big Nung starts smiling. And Little Nung's like, what the hell, man? Why? And Big Nung is like, you have a good memory.
Yeah.
Like, no shit. She remembers every little thing about you.
Yeah, and I think this is Big Nung, because remember the prior scene was Little Nung teasing Big Nung. She's been doing that the whole episode. So Big Nung is in the position to now do that back, and I think she's smiling because she can clearly see Little Nung is jealous, and she knows Little Nung has nothing to be jealous about, and she's flattered. She's like, "Oh, you're jealous over little old me. I kind of like this. Now I know why you're trying to get me to be jealous all the time."
Who's jealous of little old me? We can rewrite every single Taylor Swift song, really.
And we get sued. Let's not do that.
So, Little Nung says, of course I remember. She sent you kisses in front of me. And then directly asks what is going on between them. Because she's like, no, let's just cut this bullshit out. What is going on?
The kisses thing, Little Nung will never be over this. She's going to hold this grudge against Juan Viva forever. Like 20 years from now, she will still bring this up to Big Nung and be like, you went out with the beautiful doctor. I love how she's always calling Juan Viva the beautiful doctor. It's never just like Juan Viva, which also like, I'm like, Little Nung, are you kind of into Juan Viva? I don't know what's going on here.
Do you think that they had a threesome?
No.
Later?
No, never. Because at this point, Juan Viva has her girlfriend, so no. I think both of them are way too, because Juan Viva reads to me as basically Little Nug, so I think they're way too possessive of their partners to ever do that, to be honest. Little Nug would never.
Yeah.
She don't share.
So,
she doesn't share.
Big Nung then just starts trying to poke the bear, because also I hope people understand what I'm saying, because I've been using a lot of sayings that we have, like can of worms and poke the bear, and I don't think that translates, so let me know if I need to cut that out, people. Anyway, so
basically she's agitating Little Nung because she wants her, she's playing with her, she's teasing her,
by telling Little Nung that they went out recently, and leans down to be eye level with Little Nung and says, are you jealous?
Right. This is flirt teasing.
So Little Nung's like, I'm being serious now, stop. But Big Nung reassures her that she doesn't have to be jealous, and that Juan Viva and her are just friends and haven't hung out in a long time. Juan Viva just shows up at the mall all the time.
Yeah. So I love when she's like, Little Nung is like, I'm being serious. Like, what is actually going on between the two? Because Big Nung has never actually like cleared this up, truly. So I love that Big Nung tries to be flirty and tease Little Nung back for her jealousy. But like, again, like Little Nung legitimately feels threatened by Juan Viva. Because look at Juan Viva. She's somebody who is Big Nung's age. And somebody who has her life together, allegedly. I mean, the secret shopper thing, maybe. Who knows what she actually does? Is she a doctor? Who knows? But she looks like she has her life together, right? She basically, on paper and visually, looks a lot like Sam. Remember when Little Nung was jealous of Sam? The woman with the expensive car, the money, like the status, big girl job, all that kind of stuff. That's basically Juan Viva. But like, Juan Viva is somebody Big Nung could actually date because they're not related, right? But they seem to keep in contact, which Big Nung doesn't do with many people. So Little Nung's reaction to Juan Viva is very much justified. But also, like, Big Nung is still, like, being truthful, but teasing Little Nung in the scene where she said, oh, we used to hang out a long time ago. And she forgot to put, like, hang out in air quotes. Because, like, yeah, they have an actual sexual past with each other. But I will say, so, like, she doesn't fully ever clear this up with Little Nung. For whatever reason. But one thing Big Nung does get right in this conversation is that in the middle of the mall, because they're in public, remember, people can see them, Big Nung is the one who initiates physical intimacy with Little Nung unprompted. And she starts caressing Little Nung's head and using the cute voice. And the second she starts doing that, that's when Little Nung relaxes. Because she's like, okay, you're using your cute voice in public and you're touching me in public. So that is a win in and of itself for Little Nung, right? Because she was not initiating anything with Juan Viva. Juan Viva was the one clinging onto her arm. She wasn't doing anything with Juan Viva. She's the one now doing it with Little Nung. So, like, I think this is a moment of reassurance a little bit.
She's getting a mini cookie right now.
Right.
So Little Nung tells her that she doesn't like that Big Nung is closer to Juan Viva than she is to her. And I think she's talking about in public because she witnessed Big Nung letting Juan Viva hold on to her arm.
Yeah.
That's a big thing to Little Nung, who is starving for the touch in public.
Right.
And I think that this is fair because Big Nung is portraying that Little Nung means nothing to her out in public. We need to fix that, Big Nung. That's the part that really needs to be fixed.
Oh, and don't worry, she's gonna fix it, because what does Big Nung do? She's still in teasing mode, so she leans even closer into Little Nung's space, and in her seductress voice is like, what should I do then? And it's like, this was some lesbian Jesus shit right here, because what the hell was this? And instead of like immediately melting into a gay puddle on the floor like I would, Little Nung just starts sulking, because again, like, the whole like touching her hair thing in public and being cute was a win, but not fully satisfactory for the Juan Viva scenario. So she starts pouting because she's like, well, I want you to wife me in public, but I know that's not gonna happen. So Big Nung's like, fine, and like grabs her hand and then takes her into the bathroom. And here's a major perk of same-sex relationships: secret moments in bathrooms.
Yes, where Big Nung does her big gay energy stance to pin Little Nung against the wall.
Damn.
Again, how did she not die?
I don't know how Yoko doesn't die. I don't understand.
So Little Nung asks why she's bringing her in there, but there's a smile on her face, so she definitely finds this exciting. She's
so excited. She's like, what are you doing?
This is exciting. I don't even care it's a bathroom.
It's like, Little Nung, do you not see the way she's looking at you like you're a meal? Like, what do you mean, what are you doing? Like, I think, again, this is one of those scenarios where Little Nung knows, but she wants Big Nung to, like, say it or do something or both, right? Because she's the one feeling on the outs, and she's like, you need to make it up to me for, like, making me jealous over Juan Viva. But she's, like, literally all smiles this entire scene because, again, this is, like, I can't believe this is happening kind of thing. Like, it's kind of adorable because, like, remember how this episode open where she's like, this is all just being with you is like a dream. This is another, like, I'm sure this is a fantasy dream scenario where she's like, oh my God, she pulled me aside in a bathroom and is gonna make out with me. Like, wow, like, is this really happening? It's really kind of cute.
Yeah. Then Big Nong gives her the lightest kiss. This is literally the lightest kiss imaginable.
Literally.
And tells her that she brought her in there to do that. And asks how many times does she have to tell her that she loves her? Translation. I don't want anyone but you. So can we move past this now? Like, kind of tired of it.
Yeah, Big Nung then follows up and says, how many times do I have to tell you that I love you? Which is interesting because Little Nung was always the one saying I love you constantly. So much that Big Nung commented on it, says you say that so often. I don't even know if you know what it means. So here's Big Nung doing that right back, where she's like, do I need to tell you I love you every single day so that you'll believe it? Like, how the tables have turned in this scene. And I think it's really sweet, and I think that alone makes Little Nung feel less threatened by this whole Juan Viva thing. Like, you know, because she just needs reassurance, and that's all Big Nung's trying to do, like, reassure her kind of thing. In what capacity she can, which, again, is another, like, we have to have a private moment to do it. You can't sing dress in public yet.
But only in bathrooms, apparently.
Only in bathrooms. And wait, before we keep going, I have to give my Big Gay Energy Award to the bird that's in the bathroom with them that you can hear in the scene. Why there's a bird in the bathroom, I have no idea. But this scene starts with Little Nung smiling and a bird starts chirping in the bathroom. So there's a bird in the bathroom. This is my favorite bird. The bird showed up for this scene.
Theora, we need to just put random bird sound effects in this episode.
I'll see what I can do.
You don't have to. Alright, but Little Nung, being her usual little mischievous self, and her body language is like, I don't know, you may have to keep kissing me to prove it.
Yes. And Little Nung, because Little Nung is, you know, these whole two scenes are just like teasing and like who has the power, who's doing the teasing, who's being teased. So this is Little Nung with the power back trying to like test the teasing. Because every time she pouts in this part, because Big Nung's like, do you believe me? Are we okay? And then Little Nung will do this thing where she just starts like pouting. And then Big Nung will touch her face and be like, are we okay? Basically. So she's like, and does it in the cute voice. So like Little Nung is like, ooh, this game's fun. And so she keeps doing it to get Big Nung to keep like doting on her essentially. And she's just having fun. Because I think finally Little Nung has what she wants, which is like Big Nung being openly cute and being a smitten acting like a smitten girlfriend. That's what Little Nung wants. And she's like, oh, she keeps doing it. It's so cute. How can I keep pushing these buttons? I like these buttons.
Yeah, she keeps finding new buttons. And it's fun. So when they leave the bathroom stall, they run into another person washing their hands. Because no one thought about the fact that this isn't a one-person bathroom.
They don't care.
They do, because Big Nung immediately stops holding Little Nung's hand.
That's because they traumatized this poor woman. She's like, I was just trying to wash my hands. I was not trying to overhear the lesbianism. I'm going to go now. I'm not even going to dry my hands. I'm just running away. They traumatized this woman.
She really is cowering.
Yes.
She's like,
I saw nothing. I saw nothing. Exit stage left.
Please don't kill me. Don't use
Literally.
your mob.
I saw nothing.
But then Little Nung's like, as Big Nung, if she thinks the person heard them. It's not like...
I mean, the bird heard you, let's be honest. So the woman probably heard you too. And I love Big Nung's response, because Big Nung's like, she posts up against the wall, and she's like, whatever. Because it goes to show that deep down, Big Nung really does not care what other people think about her. Like, she really doesn't care. And she doesn't care if other people don't understand their relationship. What she's worried about is the family stuff, the family dynamics. But, like, people know it. She's like, I don't care if that bitch heard us. I don't care if she saw us making out in the bathroom. I really don't care. Yeah. And Little Nung's like, well, I kind of care, because now at least one person on Earth knows that you love me. And that's all that's, you know, remember the conversation in the library? I just want people to know that you're mine and I'm yours. And, like, she's like, well, one person knows, so that's a win for me.
Then she says, actually, I want the whole world to know. And then asks Big Nung if they should go out and kiss so many people will see them. This scene is hilarious.
I love it. It keeps getting better, Big
Nung asks, who would do that? And Little Nung says, I would. And then asks Big Nung if she's afraid.
Okay, she doesn't just ask Big Nung if she's afraid. She marches into because Big Nung's against the wall. She marches into Big Nung's space, effectively pinning Big Nung against the wall, and says, are you afraid? Like, the confidence and audacity of this. And Big Nung responds by doing that little, like, forehead flick thing. Okay, the last time she did it, you heard it. So poor Little Nung. But this time it's, like, barely anything. So she's, like, and he calls her silly. Because, like, I think if it wasn't for all the family bullshit, well, actually, no. Big Nung seems like a private person to me who, like, wouldn't do something like that. But I also don't think she really cares, to be honest. But, like, Little Nung's audacity, like, good lord. Like, she's so funny.
The big gay audacity.
The big gay audacity award also goes to this question. Actually,
Big
no.
Nung.
Keep going. Her audacity gets better. She has the audacity of the scene.
Big Nung says, let's go shopping. But now Little Nung has other plans. She's just going to buy it online. She would much rather go back to the palace and do other things. But then Big Nung's like, we're here. We're buying it. Let's go.
Okay, let's go back to the I want to do something else line. Because again, she still has Big Nung pinned against the wall when she's saying this. And Little Nung uses that word, magua, is what it sounds like to me. It's probably not the word. I'm maybe missing tones or whatever. I don't know how to spell this. I have no idea. But she used the same word at the end of 201 in the bedroom scene. So I'm pretty sure she's implying something sexual here. Because, I mean, look at what Big Nung just did. She's like, you're out here kissing me in bathrooms and telling me you love me in front of strangers. She's like, you deserve a reward for that. So we should go back to your palace and do sexy things. And I think she says all this with her eyes. And then Big Nung, I think, catches on to what she's saying, because what Big Nung says in response is, we can't. And if you listen very closely, her voice is very shaky. Like, she's super thrown off by what Little Nung just did. And she's like, we can't do that. So I think she's kind of, like, embarrassed a little bit, or, like, the audacity of my girlfriend. Good lord.
Yeah, and Little Nung is like, fine. But she does not let this conversation end without telling Big Nung that she does not want her getting drinks with the doctor again.
No.
It is not allowed.
Oh my god. But what I love is when she tells her this and Big Nung takes, because again, this is all a teasing thing, right? Little Nung just teased her hugely to the point where Big Nung was completely thrown off. So then this is a serious moment where Little Nung's like, okay, but seriously, you're not allowed to hang out alone in bars with the sexy doctor. And Big Nung, who knows that Little Nung is threatened and jealous of Juan Viva, pretends to contemplate this for like a second. She's like, let me think about that. And Little Nung's face already, where she's pouting and then she's like concerned, where she's like, oh my god, you have to say yes. And Big Nung's like, fine, yes. It's really cute. She lets her sit in the uncomfortability before Big Nung's like, okay, fine, that's fine. Again, demonstrating to Little Nung, like, you mean more to me than Juan Viva, which, I mean, anybody with eyes can see that, but, you know, she needs the reassurance. And I have to point out, when they exit the bathroom, Big Nung is holding Little Nung's hand when they leave. So there's also that. So Little Nung got a bunch of wins in this scene. So good for her.
Her plan is working.
Let's get into part 2. So meanwhile, back at the Bua Palace at who knows when or what time, I assume after they're done shopping, the Nungs are rummaging through the library in search of a bedtime story. So while Little Nung is looking at the shelves, Big Nung wanders over to the desk and picks up the family photo. And she gets lost in her feels about song, and this dark, lost look passes over her face. Little Nung instantly gets bored looking at the books and notices this behavior. So she puts on a smile and comes over to comfort Big Nung. And it works. Like, the minute she, like, comes over and, like, hugs her, Big Nung's mood, like, her face brightens, right? Because, like, here's her little happiness coming over. And Little Nung keeps this party going by flirting. So she's like, wow,
of course she does.
Because of course she does. So she's like, wow, Song is so pretty. No wonder you two are related. Because Big Nung's got a praise kink and can't help herself but lean into this compliment.
They both do.
They both do. Big Nung's worse, though. She leans into it, and I love her response. She's like, of course, all my family members are good looking. Duh. I'm like, girl. The audacity.
This made me laugh so much. Audacity and confidence.
I mean, she's not wrong, but like the confidence and audacity.
She's not. She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. So I think Lil Nung is doing two things. She's trying to put Big Nung into a better place, but also she's curious to know more about Big Nung. I mean, she wants to know everything, obviously. And she just recently discovered number 2 exists. So Lil Nung is trying to like ease her up to get more info. And so she's like, can you tell me what Song was like? She's like, was Song anything like you? I mean, obviously she's beautiful like you, but was she personality-wise like you? And Big Nung's like, oh, hell no. She's like, she was the sweet one. Like, she was the calm, cute sister. Like, the complete opposite of me. And to me, this response says more about how Big Nung views herself than what Song was actually like. Because this is that self-deprecating thing I keep bringing up, you know, where she, like, thinks of herself as less and puts her sisters on a pedestal. I'm sure Song was sweet and stuff, but, like, really, like, Big Nung is basically like, I'm trash. She was the golden girl, really. And the irony of this is that Little Nung does not see that in Big Nung. She doesn't see the darkness that Big Nung sees in herself. And she proves this with her next question. Oh, no, I'm sorry. And I messed up what I was saying. Okay, so yeah. Big Nung proves this by saying Big Nung sees herself as less than, and the people she cares about she sees as puts on a pedestal, including Little Nung. And so she proves that with her next response, which is Song would have liked you if you had the chance to meet, because Song was like sweet. I'm sure Big Nung would have loved to have all of her sisters meet.
Oh, definitely. No, that would have... Because she could have a birthday party with her entire, like, her sisters and the love of her life. And that would have been so cute.
Literally. Like, that would have meant the world to her. If you want to know more about Song, this is where I'm putting in the plug for our Patreon. So if you become a super supporter, for $15, we give the super supporters extra bonus content that we don't give the $5 a month tier. Which, I mean, the $5 a month, you get a lot of stuff. But the bonus tier, we did a whole episode where we basically called Who is Song? Where we, like, gave Song a backstory and all this stuff. And, like, actually did fan fiction about this scenario with, like, Little Nung meeting Song and stuff. So if you want to know more about that episode was really funny. You should go listen to that.
Spoiler, Big Nung's a DJ.
Big Nung is a DJ. And spoiler alert, Jim is there because of course
Jim, because
it's Jim.
You did not think that Jim was gonna be there.
Jim's there
listening to this podcast.
Jim is the linchpin of our entire story. But anyway, back to this. So Big Nung is basically, and also I think this conversation where Big Nung is saying, hey, I wish you could have met my sister, basically. I feel like you two would have gotten along. I think that also means a lot to Little Nung to hear that Big Nung has thought about this and been like, you guys would have gotten along. Like, that says, again, a lot about Big Nung's headspace. And it's really sweet and cute, but the cuteness lasts about 0.003 seconds before Big Nung immediately gets lost in her reverie thinking about Song again. And she gets real quiet. And Little Nung picks up on that shift again because she's good at reading Big Nung. And I think she's worried about this and the way Big Nung gets really in a dark place when she starts thinking about this. But again, Little Nung has that emotional intelligence where she knows now's not the time. Big Nung doesn't want to talk about this. I can tell. That's why she's being quiet. So she's opening up a little bit, which is good. So when Big Nung gets lost in thought again, Little Nung doesn't say anything. She doesn't try to push the topic, which is a wise move. Instead, she basically, like, holds Nung's hand while she's gripping the photo. Like, she says without saying to Big Nung, like, I'm here for you for when you want to talk about this, which is the emotionally mature thing to do, because Little Nung is the Big Nung whisperer. She knows her well enough that, like, when she's ready, Big Nung will open up about this one way or another. And she's like, I can tell you need more time. But the fact that you even mentioned Song without getting immediately sad, like, she was smiling when she's like, you know, Song would like you. Like, that's a big step to her processing Song and, like, healing. Like, that already was huge.
Yeah, I have two things to say. First, I knew I was going to forget it, though, so I was going to say it first. Oh, okay, I got it. Sorry. I know we've mentioned it before, but Little Nung's emotional intelligence and maturity is insane. Like, I was going to say I don't know where she got it from, but I really think that she did either watch a lot of TV, listen to the radio. She consumed so much media for her to be able to understand other people's point of views, because her family definitely does not do that.
No.
So this was fully self-taught, and it's amazing to see. And I mean, I know I'm just putting like the media taught her this, but it reinforces how powerful media is it impacts people's lives, because she grew up with Chet. She didn't grow up with Chet. That's another issue. I mean, Chet's whatever. That's not the thing. But back to this scene.
Wait, I want to add, I think you're right. I think she did get this from media, because what is her career aspiration? She wants to be a DJ on that relationship show. So I think she learned this stuff from listening to that radio program and, like, was picking up these skills because that's what she wants to do with her life. So here she is, like, testing out some of those skills she probably learned that way.
She's also a very quick study.
She's really smart. Little Nung is really smart.
Well, I meant in another way.
I mean, she's also, like, yes, that, but also, like, she's good at reading Big Nung. Like, she's always been good at that.
Yeah. Also, when she was holding Nung's hand when she was holding the photo, I think it was a way for Little Nung to ground Big Nung, because, again, like, she doesn't want her to get her too much in her feels. So the touch, like, reminds her that she's still in the present world and that she is loved right now. Like, if she spends too much time in the past, all the progress they made up to this point is going to disappear. And we saw that when she had to go back to the palace when the grandmam died. So Little Nung is doing everything in her power to make sure that Big Nung stays okay and that their relationship continues to go forward and not backward.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And, like, if we go back to the screenshot, I think you can read the scene as well as that, because if the left-hand side is, like, the photo, so that's, like, the past, and then, like, the hands is the present, right? Like, it's your love of the past, love in the present kind of thing. So I like that. That's a good read.
Yeah, this show's really good.
The show is so good.
If you couldn't tell that we thought that by now.
Yes. But the lengths of our episodes keep increasing in terms of duration. So if you can't tell, we really love the show.
We're going to be here for like a full 24 hours by 2:06.
Yeah, like literally. Let's keep this party going. All right. So Little Nung, again, seeing Big Nung is getting lost in her feels, tries to distract Big Nung with her cuteness, which works. And Big Nung then changes the subject. The subject gets changed back to finding a suitable bedtime story. And Little Nung's like, can you help me? I'm lost. And Big Nung's like, okay. So she puts the picture down to go help her. This is cute. And they pick up a Big Nung, not Little Nung. Big Nung is her fault. Goes and picks up a romance novel, which says a lot about her headspace. Because remember, she's like, you're going to read me a story, right? So Big Nung picks out the romance novel. So you cannot blame Little Nung for the scene we're about to see next. This is Big Nung's fault. Okay. So let's go there. So then we cut over to Little Nung's room. And so, again, it's a big room. She's got, like, a resting area. Like, what a room, right? So Big Nung is getting ready for bed. And then Little Nung is on the couch checking out this novel Big Nung gave her. Okay, so because Big Nung's here for the visit, air quotes, that she promised earlier. And Little Nung is like, it's nighttime. And nighttime means sexy times. So let's get us ready for that. So like a good girlfriend, Little Nung comments immediately that Big Nung looks cute in her cat pajamas, which Little Nung has seen her wear before, but Little Nung knows compliments replenishes her girl's electrolytes. So she's trying to get her ready for the sex later. So that's what she's doing. She's like, you look real cute and stuff. And Big Nug's like, get the fuck out of here. These pajamas are like 500 years old. Like, shut up. Like, she's all embarrassed. She's like, shut up, Nug.
Compliments are her protein bars.
Yeah. She's like, okay, I'm ready to go. All right. So then Little Nug's like, okay, let's get into this more. So let's talk about this book you picked out, Big Nug. Big Nug's like, how's the story? And Little Nug's like, I don't know. It's beautifully written, but I don't really understand what the hell's happening.
Which, I mean, this girl knows how to read. We've seen it multiple times. And, I mean, obviously, Big Nug's going to figure that out. But continue.
Yeah, if anybody has any info on what this book actually is, because I don't know how to translate the title or what's going on here. If you know anything about this book, please leave us in the comments. Like, what is it? What's it about? I just want to know more. Because, like, in my brain, and, like, she mentions it's an old novel, which I don't know what that means in terms of time. But, like, in my brain, I'm like, is this Pride and Prejudice, where it's, like, written in, like, Old English? Like, the language is totally different. So that's legitimate to be like, I'm sure it's beautiful, but I
struggle with that.
Right. I'm trying to read thou art, like, old-fashioned words, and, like, because that's legitimate to, like, that's a form of translation where you're like, it's in my language, but it's like an outdated version of my language that I am having a hard time reading it. That's valid. And I don't know enough about this book to comment on that. But Big Nug, again, knows her girlfriend's a tease. So she's like, I don't believe a word of any of this. And she's like, it's a romance novel. How is that difficult to read? She's like, are you... And at this point, if I was Big Nug, I'd be super concerned that she doesn't have her university work completely under control. I'd be like, you're struggling with this? Did you even study for your test tomorrow? Like, you know what I mean?
Sometimes Little Nug is a visual learner.
Sometimes. For her schoolwork?
No, for the romance novel.
I know, yeah, we're getting there. And Little Nug's like, no, I got my schoolwork. Don't talk about school. That's not sexy. Let's talk about the book. She's like, listen, what I really don't understand is this passage right here. And the way she hands the book to Big Nug and has this mischievous giant grin on her face is so funny. Because again, this is foreplay. And Big Nug reads it, and her face immediately is like, oh, for fuck's sake.
The look on Big Nug's face is everything. I love this so much. Because she realizes that she got played. And she should have known as soon as she saw that Little Nug was reading a romance novel. Okay, so I didn't realize that Big Nug was the one who picked it out.
Yes.
But, like, she should have known where this was going. Like,
she did!
Internally, I don't think she, like, outwardly fully understood. I don't know, Theora. I'm giving her the benefit.
I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt. Remember when we were on the Isle of Lesbos and, like, Little Nug is outside reading sexy Pluto passages out loud and Big Nug's like, don't read smut out loud. What did she expect?
Well, I think maybe just subconsciously she picked that book.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. She knew. Anyway, this was hilarious. Also, you're not suspicious that she's, like, 100 pages into the book when she's like, I just started it. It's like, girl, okay. So Big Nug's like, come on now. And Little Nug's like, what? I just opened the book and there was smut on the page. It's not my fault. Blame the author.
Okay, I write it. The talent it had to be for her to find that so quickly.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Big Nug's in the shower and Little Nug's like speed reading, like, where's the smut?
She's like, it's gotta be in here.
It's in here somewhere. Right. No, exactly. Like, this is all staged.
But there's like a whole section in Big Nug's library that's just that.
I mean, she spread out the smut books, and Little Nug's like, okay, sure. But anyway, so Big Nug's like, yeah, so you were just randomly reading smut out loud, like at the beach house, and like, come on now, girl. Like, also, like, we wouldn't be here, Big Nug, if this girl wasn't constantly reading smut in novels. So, hydrate for that. Like, you're benefiting from her sapphic novel reading. I'm just saying.
She is greatly benefiting from it.
Right. That's how we got this scene. She probably learned this in a book.
Yes, true.
Okay. So then Big Nug asks why Little Nug would plan to read... If this book is so challenging, she's like, why are you going to read it on your podcast? Do you really think this is a good idea if you barely understand it? Air quotes. And Little Nug's like, no, this is a good choice because no one else has covered this. So, like, already she's proving to be a smarter businesswoman than Sam.
Yes. Okay, everyone is.
Literally.
I don't think Sam actually made any decision in that business anyway.
No.
Yeah. Okay. But thank you. Good job, Little Nung or Big Nung. But both of you. Because way to enter the space that needs to be filled. No wonder she is just killing it right away later. But, you know,
I know.
We will get into that.
But also, if this novel is so old, would it really do well? Unless it's a classic.
Yeah,
is
that's
this a
true.
Classic? Is this Pride and Prejudice, the Thai Pride and Prejudice? Because that's a classic. There's like cults around that book. So let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we definitely need to know.
That's in my brain. That's the equivalent to this book. And she's like, first of all, like, no one's done this. Also, it's a smut book. So, like, how hard can this really be to read? And it's like, you're caught in your own lie, man. And Big Nug calls her out with her eyes. And she's like, really? It's not hard to read at all? Sure. And Little Nug's like, oh, shit. I mean, it'll be so easy for me to read this once you help me interpret this tricky sentence, Big Nug. Like, I got this.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. I can't imagine. Anyway, she's the worst. So Little Nung then proceeds to read to Big Nung, like, the big sentence where she's like, so I gently kissed those lips, and like trails off because Big Nung shuts the book because there's only so much of this ridiculousness Big Nung can take. Because come on now, flirting via books is the nerdiest thing I've ever seen. I'm here for it, first of all. But like Big Nung is like, come on. Like, this was such a thinly veiled like move for Big Nung. At this point,
I mean, she should have known. She should have known.
She, like, you know, I feel like she went a little, I think she's chastising herself to be like, I thought you were serious. I should have known you're not serious and you're using this as means of flirting. But I'm not mad because, like, I think Big Nung is a big nerd because, like, she was good at school and shit. And, like, she told her in the prior scene, she's like, my favorite room in the house is this library. So she's kind of nerdy. So I think she's into book flirting. So I don't think she's super mad at this. She's just like, I damn got fooled by you again. And if you're watching this, you're probably wondering why Kaitlynn and I suddenly look different and maybe sound different. And we have to pause and give a huge shout out to one of our Patreon members. Who is it, Kaitlynn?
Michelle G.
Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Who, when Patreon got the episode early, Michelle, like the true hero, listened to this immediately and then found out that our audio got janky at the end, meaning I disappeared. So thank you for letting us know. We now have to re-record this. So we will do our best to make it as entertaining as it would have been. So now we have a second lost episode, Kaitlynn. The Big Gay Energy War is still going. We have the lost episode of Willow that will never get out of the vault.
But we actually have the full thing of that. We don't have your audio. We're missing. You know what we should do? We should do a Keeping Up with Big Gay Energy where we try to like voice over your parts.
I've thought about that. I'll save it. We'll see if we can do that. Be like, maybe this is what it would have been. Who knows for those interested. Okay.
But shout out to Michelle because that's even better than using the secret word at the end because now we definitely know Michelle watched.
You know what? Okay, for those instead of a secret word, say thank you, Michelle, in the comments. That's what we want you guys to do.
Oh, like, yeah, I have no idea what the secret word was.
Because it doesn't matter. Michelle is the real hero today.
Is this the croquette episode?
Who knows, Kaitlynn? We filmed so many. We're now filming at a sync. Like, we just filmed, what did we just film today?
The end of 203? Part 2.
Yeah.
That was 4 hours long.
It's second half of part 3 is epic.
The birthday scene. But we're on 202 part 1.
We have to build up before we get to Daddy Nung. So, like, let's deal with this. Big Nung.
I thought you were about to stick with Daddy, and I was like, why are we bringing Chet into this?
Absolutely not. That's homophobic, Kaitlynn. We're talking about Daddy Nung, who's the hottest form of Big Nung. So anyway, before we get there, we have to deal with nerd flirting, which is what they're I should rename the episode, Nerd Flirting. That's what's happening in this episode. It's adorable. So Big Nung calls Little Nung out for being a whole ass lie. And Little Nung is like, listen, I'm not lying. It is tricky because I just can't imagine what being gently kissed it would feel like. And then she gives Nung these like come hither eyes, where she's like, if you could demonstrate, maybe I could get an A in English class or whatever. And Big Nung is like, oh, you can't imagine it, can you? And she enthusiastically takes the bait and tries to like lean in and kiss her. And Little Nung keeps and she does this multiple times. And Little Nung keeps like pulling away and going, oh my God, like clutching her pearls, being like, Big Nung, how could you? I was trying to read you a story. Why'd you gotta make it sexual? And it's like, girl, this was so funny.
Sexual gaslighting.
Sexual gaslighting.
That's the title.
Nerd flirting. Oh my God.
We should have Patreon vote on episode titles.
Yeah, we should. It's a little late because this has to go out immediately after I edit it, but
we are filming this 12 hours before this releases.
Yeah, on YouTube, so cheers to us. Anyway, so Little Nung's like, get your head out of the gutter, Big Nung. I'm just trying to read you a bedtime story, jeez. And then she like cuddles up on the couch next to Big Nung. And I love this thing they keep doing. They do it in another scene where I call this their reading position. And I think it's really cute. Whoever came up with this decided this is how they would be like kind of blocked for this, because it's very adorable. Because what happens is like they're on a love seat, which is big enough for two people. And Little Nung kind of like lays horizontal-ish on the couch, like with her back into Big Nung's chest, while Big Nung's like sitting and like almost functioning as like the backrest for her. And in this scene, like it allows Big Nung to like obviously they can have more physical contact with each other, but Big Nung can read over Little Nung's shoulder. So like it makes sense the way they're doing this, but it's such a cute little like couple position. And I love that they're doing it. And they do it multiple times. It's really cute. Anytime someone's reading, this is kind of how they sit. And Big Nung
doing it when they're really old together.
Oh my God, that'd be the cutest.
It's yeah, like I can imagine them retired and they're just like they read every day together. And Little Nung's still doing a podcast.
Absolutely. Well, because like, okay, so when we get to the end of the show and they do the flash forward with the other actors, they do basically do kind of this position where like Big Nung's sitting and Little Nung's like curled in, and it's like 20 years later. So like they still keep kind of doing this, which is very cute. It's adorable. But here it's very functional because like Big Nung's trying to read because she's like, I can't trust you to actually read, so I'm gonna read this. And and she's like, again, was denied kisses because Little Nung was teasing her. So she keeps like peppering kisses onto Little Nung's head. And Little Nung is not reading the book. She just keeps looking at Big Nung almost like in awe. She's like, I can't believe this is really happening because this is adorable. Like, this is a dream come true. This is like the most domestic, cute thing they've ever done. And it's so adorable. I love this for them. And anyway, so that's the book. But who knows? I'm sure they got like 2 pages in because like they're in the. Let's think about this for 2 seconds. So they're reading. Little Nung picked the smut to start with, so they're probably going to get like a page into the smut before they stop reading. So let's be honest. So good job, Little Nung.
I would be surprised if they got even a full page. But like this is kind of a hard thing to do because if you're reading the same book, all right, who decides when to turn the page? Do they just have to say that they're both done every page? Because I feel like that'd get really annoying.
Yeah. So my wife and I used to do this. So the way we would do it is one person reads out loud. That way you have to stay on the same page.
That's a lot. That's even more talking than the podcast, Theora.
Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, you're not going to get through the whole book in one night, you know? You just get through like a chapter or whatever. Anyway. Okay, so let's go over the next. So that's their night. They had a cute little domestic night. Then the next morning, Big Nung drops Little Nung off at university. And I realized in this scene, like in the wide shot, like I finally read like the name of the school. And so she attends the Faculty of Architecture, Art, and Design. And I was wondering if this was the same like faculty Nung went to. Like I get the impression she was the alumni of this school. And like how, again, fitting is that with the way how similar Big Nung and Little Nung are, that like Little Nung goes to her faculty because architecture.
My brain went to that she's taking after Mon and she picked her major. Like I know she wants to do it, but she picked her major just so she could go to the same school as Big Nung.
I mean, that is what Mon did, yeah. But Little Nung is not a stalker. I think that Big Nung and Little Nung are just that similar. You know what I mean? That it's like a coincidence that they ended up at the same But that's kind of cute that like their life journeys are pretty similar. So this is another like little piece of that, which is cute. Okay, so as little Nung is getting out of the car, she's like basically like, bye, I gotta go for real, bye. She's done kissing her in the car. So she gets out. And then Big Nung's like, oh, wait, shit. Nung, hold on. So little Nung stops outside the car, and Big Nung gets out of the car, and she looks like nervous when she's getting out of the car. And the first time I saw this, I'm like, what is she doing? And she gets out, and she approaches little Nung, and she's like, give me your hand. And little Nung's response is pure comedy, where she's like, I'm not a dog. Like, give me your paw. Like, paw? Little Nung's like, I'm not a dog. Like, well, what are you doing? This is weird.
She's not sham.
She's not a sham, yeah. She's not into what your sister's into, Big Nung. Stop taking love advice from Sam. Sam's a disaster. Although Sam got the girl, so like, is she or anyway?
Because she knew her girl.
Because Sam and Mon are both disasters. That's why it works.
It's the disaster emotional support lesbians.
Yeah, they are the idiots in love trope, and it shows. And Big Nung and Little Nung are the forbidden love trope, and it shows. So Sam's advice doesn't always work. So anyway, Big Nung is like, oh my God. She's like, I know you're not a dog. I'm not Sam. Hey, seriously, just give me your hand. And I love when Little Nung does this. She does it with like her palm up, and she looks hella skeptical. She's like, I guess. I don't know why you're asking me to do this. This is super weird. And Big Nung looks nervous. So like this, from Little Nung's point of view, she's like, this is weird. Nung is being weird and asked me to do weird things. I don't know where this is going, but okay, here's my hand, I guess. And it's really cute that Big Nung is really, really nervous because she's about to give her a gift, like out of nowhere. And I imagine she's never really done this for anybody before, where she just like randomly got a gift. It's not a special occasion. Little Nung's going to take a test. Like, what was the occasion? She's just like, I want to give you something.
This is just going to distract her during the test.
Right. No, this was, yeah, exactly. I'm like,
you do this after the test.
You do it after the test. Yeah. But I think Big Nung was just so nervous. She's like, I got to do it now. So without saying anything, she just puts this cute little flower bracelet on Little Nung's wrist, and she puts it on and fits it for Little Nung, which is super chivalrous. Like, Big Nung is a gentlewoman, and here she is doing it again.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that Little Nung thought of this as an engagement bracelet. I'm just saying.
Because Nung was taking Sam's advice?
Yes.
Oh, she definitely is like, this means something, because she got me a gift. Didn't tell her. And Little Nung asks, like, what we're all asking ourselves, like, when did you get this? Because in Gap, if we're going to compare it to Gap, like, we saw the scene where Mon was like, that's cute. And then Sam's like, give me too. And like bought it for Mon because like Mon liked it. And Sam is the person who's like, you want that? I'll buy it for you because I can, and to make you happy. Whereas Nung is the one who like thinks shit through. And like, I think that Nung kind of planned this and then did it, kind of thing. So because Nung doesn't say anything in the scene. So let's speculate wildly. How did Nung do this? So off screen, I think Nung asked Sam and Mon for advice regarding what to give your girlfriend as a gift. Girlfriends who aren't girlfriends, which Sam and Mon are experts in. So Mon whipped out the bracelet that we keep talking about that Sam bought her. And she tells the story of this apology gift that Sam got her and how they now have matching ones. And they're the engagement bracelets Kaitlynn mentioned. And I think Big Nung was like, yeah, cool story, but I'm a one of a kind. I'm a limited edition. And I refuse to match with anybody, no matter how cute they are. But she's like, jewelry, that sounds like a good gift, because Little Nung wears jewelry. Like, she wears earrings and like that kind of stuff. And I've seen her wear rings. And she's like, she doesn't have a bracelet. So great. Where can I buy jewelry? And Sam mentions that she knows somebody. So what was Jim doing off screen? I think that she's like Jim, because I think Jim had some side hustle where she's part of this pyramid scheme selling jewelry, because Jim would. And I think Jim would. Jim absolutely would get sucked into a mid-level marketing scheme. Absolutely. So Jim sells it to Nung and then hits on her a bunch, because Jim is into all these sisters. Let's keep it 100. And Jim's not subtle. And so this whole ordeal was so embarrassing that Big Nung was like, I cannot tell Little Nung how I got this bracelet because it's embarrassing. So she says nothing.
This is a better theory than my first thought. So I was just thinking that it may be a bracelet she got while growing up that meant a lot to her, but she didn't wear it because like she's not that big of a jewelry wearer. And now Little Nung means more to her, so she wants her to have it. Something like that.
I think that's cute. It's also like super not Nung style because Nung wears more like masculine jewelry because big Nung. So she would never wear this. It would be like
a her style, but yeah, like she got it as a gift. Like maybe Song bought it for her.
When that proves that Song doesn't know her, though. I think it would be like one of those distant relatives that don't know you and get you a gift, and you're like, "That's cute, Auntie," and then like never wear it, or you wear it around them but never actually wear it outside of the social interaction. I can see that working, and that's cute because it would be Nung giving her a part of her. But I think that Nung is the type of person who thinks she's very logical and she overthinks things. So I imagine that she was like, you like jewelry, you don't have a bracelet, I can get you a bracelet. And the bracelet matches Little Nung's style. So I think that Big Nung, it's demonstrating that Big Nung notices things about Little Nung and likes to just do things for her to show her that she loves her, basically, which is the whole point of this scene. But I was looking at the bracelet and like, it's a little flower bracelet. And I was trying to figure out like, okay, if Nung is the type of person who like overthinks shit, she was going to overthink what the bracelet looked like. So I was wondering, like, it's a flower bracelet. Like, what kind of flower is this? Like, why did she pick this bracelet in particular? So number one, it's Little Nung's style because she pays attention to every detail about Little Nung. But then I was like, okay, but why this flower? So I think that this is a jasmine flower, which represents love and loyalty. So for Nung to pick that would make sense because Nung is the type of person who shows affection through action. So she's trying to show Little Nung with this gift, I love you. And I think that by choosing a flower that means that, she's telling Little Nung, I'm faithfully yours, even though I'm not comfortable labeling this right now. We can't be out in the world just dating. So I think it's like an engagement bracelet, like you're saying, like a promise ring. Like it's Big Nung saying like, I'm yours. I think she's trying to say that with the gift, right?
Yeah,
and Little Nung, yeah, it's she overthinks shit. So I can see her going through all of that and being like that. Meanwhile, Little Nung's like, oh my God, she bought me a gift. And then Little Nung, with all the audacity in the world, makes a very bold claim in response where she said, wow, if I had known sooner you were this cute when you were in love with me, I wouldn't have waited so long. And it's like, Little Nung, I'm pretty sure you've been trying to wife her in U-Haul since the first episode. Like, what do you mean?
Seriously. No, I'm pretty sure like the first time she met her, she was like, hey, can I move in with you? She's like, who are you?
Right. Like, who are you? So at the first time I watched this, I was like, what is she talking about? This is the audacity of this woman. But I think what she's actually referring to in this line is that she's talking about the few months where they were separated after the cursed white button down incident where Little Nung woke up and chose violence and was like, I don't remember anything that happened last night. Let's reset this whole thing. And then they were apart for a couple of months. I think she's talking about that. She's like, if I had known you in that moment, the morning after, were this serious and you were going to be this cute about dating me, I wouldn't have done all that shit. And we just would have been dating immediately. I think that's what she's actually referring to. Big Nung takes the praise but doesn't say anything because she's a bundle of nerves right now and really doesn't know how to navigate this situation she's now in. Like, she wanted to do this. She wanted to give her the gift, but like, I don't think she's ever done this before. And is like, again, a messed up 30-year-old who's like, what do I do? And she's like, trying to navigate this while looking all cool and shit. And the other problem is like, I think she's also, she's like, this seems to be going well. And she's very in her head still about messing things up. So I think she's like, I'll play it cool and be real quiet and just let this play out. So far, things are going real good, right? And yes, they are Big Nung. So Little Nung takes it a step further, literally, by stepping into Big Nung's space and very sincerely says, I'm so happy, which is the cutest response ever. And I feel like that meant everything to Big Nung because that was the whole point. The whole point was to make Little Nung happy. And that's always her objective, really. Like, Little Nung being happy makes her happy.
And them being happy makes us happy.
Exactly. So hydrate for that. All right, but
hydration.
Sorry, Kaitlynn. But sometimes things are too much for Big Nung. So she's like, this is way too much for me to handle. So she's like, you should probably go inside because didn't you have a test that you should be taking. She's probably late for the exam, and like little Nog probably is like, I don't care. Yeah, I got a bracelet. Like anyway, she would not.
She's not even gonna think about this test. She's gonna be like staring at this bracelet with a stupid grin on her face, and then like halfway through, she's like, "Oh shit!" And then just starts entering randomly,
putting C for everything. Yeah, exactly. No, that's literally
like drawing a picture of like B. Oh wait, hold on. No, it would be N because we call her Big Nung, but she doesn't. In my head, Big Nung's her actual name.
Oh my god, no. Nung and little Nung. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so she's like, oh, you should probably go inside and take your test. And before, because she's like, I don't want to do anything stupid because this is going real well. So like, you go inside. But little Nung beats her to the doing something stupid part because when Nung turns, Nung's like looking like, what if people see us? Little Nung slips in real quick and kisses Nung on the cheek and then runs away before Big Nung can do anything.
Because of course she does.
Well, how could she not? Like her girlfriend, who's not a girlfriend, just gave her a gift out of nowhere and then like deserves a reward. She's like, thank you. I'm really happy. I love you. That's what she was doing. Like you deserve a reward for that. And Big Nung is too caught off guard by this bold move that she didn't like react to it. Because we see her react to cheek kissing in other scenes where she's like, we're going to get caught. Stop trying to out us. I think she was too caught off guard and nervous by the gift giving thing to like do anything about it. So little Nung, again, like she's on the track team, like sprints inside to go take the test, which she's probably late for. And Big Nung is just like kind of like outside with her feelings. And she looks around. You see her kind of like looking around to be like, did anybody see us? And once she realizes that literally nobody except your bird friends are around, Big Nung relaxes a little. And like you kind of see her like let herself feel everything in that moment. And it's really evident that she's also happy about the way this went, even though she doesn't like vocalize it.
Oh, they're so happy together.
I know.
It's so cute.
It's so cute.
It's like we need limes every single episode.
Every fucking episode. Yes, I swear to God. And I love how thoughtful Big Nung is. Like she's a really thoughtful person. You know, like that she just does these things without being told, and it's just like, just because I was thinking about you. Like the amount of mental like steps she had to go through to like get that bracelet. It's a lot. It just goes to show you how much she thinks about little Nung like all the time and is like, I'm going to do this because I can. And like, she doesn't like, if you notice the gifts that she gives little Nung, they're not gifts that are showing off her extravagant wealth, because she could get her like a tennis bracelet, like something like super like 7-figure like bought jewelry, you know what I mean? She could do it. She's the queen, but she doesn't. It's a little modest bracelet that I think means something. I think that she specifically picks things out that like are telling little Nung, I love you, in like a very personal way. Like that was not an extravagant bracelet. That was just a very like thing that fit little Nung and something that I think meant loyalty and love. And she'd rather do those gifts than like, here's a car. I noticed you didn't have, you know what I mean? Like they're not impersonal or extravagant.
I don't think little Nung would even like jewelry that was that expensive.
No, it's because exactly. It's not her style. I think she would appreciate any gift that Big Nung would ever give her. But the fact that they're so personalized to little Nung is above and beyond anything. You know what I mean?
What would be really cute is if like Big Nung did a jewelry making workshop and like that's what she gives to her. That would be really cute.
Maybe for her next business venture, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. No, not her teaching it, but her like attending it.
Because Jim's running it. It's part of the pyramid scheme.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Part of the pyramid scheme is Jim's workshops with Jim. And I feel like she would do it kind of like how people host those parties where they're in mid-level marketing where they like get drunk and they're trying to sell you shit. That's Jim. She'd be like, but if you want the good charms, you have to, you know what I mean? She'd be like hawking the expensive charms for the bracelet. Here, have more wine, you know? Jim's a hot mess. I could see her doing that shit.
I have been to a few pyramid scheme parties. My mom falls for them every single time.
There's a market. I feel like Jim would tap into that. She's a parent now. So like, you know,
she would exceed at these though. Like
she
would actually be a person who did amazing.
Agreed. No, agreed. That's what I mean. I can see Jim doing that.
Anyway. She'd create her own pyramid scheme.
Pyramids by Jim.
And she sells little pyramids.
Oh my God, stop it. I need a pyramid by Jim thing now. Anyway, let's get off this topic. We can talk about Jim all day. Jim's the best. So that's what Jim's doing off screen, in case anybody's out there wondering. That's what Jim's doing. So what is Big Nung doing? So after that really sweet, cute thing she just did, Big Nung goes to meet her emotional support lesbians for lunch. And everything's going well. They ordered a bunch of food, and now I'm hungry because like anytime they eat, I'm like, I want what they're eating. It looks so good. Damn, you guys. I want to join them for lunch. Anyway.
Can we?
I wish. So Sam casually asks why Little Nung isn't with them. She's like, you're here. Where's your other half? Because let's be real, like Sam at this point is dying to meet Little Nung. Because like here she is witnessing her sister changing into a new, happier person in front of her eyes. And she's like, where is the woman that did this? I need to meet her. And Nung automatically answers. She's like, oh, she's in exam right now, so she can't come to lunch with us. Like, you know, she's a busy lady. And Sam's like, so you memorized her schedule, Nung? Really? And like the way Nung is like, looks up like she's guilty. She's like, damn it. Sam caught me.
But like Little Nung also told her about the exam. So it's not like she memorized the schedule.
Okay. You're right, but I think with Sam is comment, because again, Sam is the person who like keeps reminding us that Nung has changed. And I think what Sam's commenting on is the fact that, again, Big Nung is set up as the person that never cared about anybody. So like Big Nung would never waste the mental space to memorize other people. She probably forgets Sam's schedule all the time. And she's probably like, Sam, can you meet me? And Sam's like, I told you I'm at work. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I just did not commit it to memory. She's that person who will not commit things to memory. But here she is being like, no, she has an exam from 1 to 3 and then she has class. And like, Sam's like, wow, you memorized her schedule. It's a way of calling out Big Nung for like caring, because I'm sure Big Nung never cared about another soul enough to waste the mental energy on their like schedule. Okay. So Sam quickly adds that like, she's like, look, I'm just teasing you, because she's really happy to see Nung happy. Like, her sister's never been truly happy. She had to watch her go through all the bullshit with the grandmam, and then it got so bad she like fled the palace and then went to the Isle of Lesbos and did all that stuff, and she reinvented herself. But Big Nung was never truly 100% happy. She was just trying to figure her shit out. But now here she is changing, and that's what like Sam is commenting on by saying, "Oh, you know her schedule." And I think she's just thrilled that like finally Nung has what she has, you know.
Yeah.
She's
like, we can be happy together.
Right. Exactly. Like,
and our girlfriends are a lot alike.
Yes. And Sam is also like the ultimate like family glue. And so she's just happy her family is happy. You know, it's one of those things. But Nung, that goes over Nung's head, because Nung's like, God damn it, is that obvious I have feelings? It's Sam's like, it's not obvious to Sam with her whole chest is like, it's not obvious to everyone, Nung. It's just because I'm your sister. Of course I know this. And then Mon enters the chat. The way she looks at Sam like, this bitch. And she's like, wow, Sam, you're so full of shit. And then she goes to throw Sam under the bus and without missing a beat, and explains in elaborate detail how Sam recruited one of the palace staff to spy on Nung and then report when Little Nung was staying over at the palace. And so she figured out that Little Nung was there the other night. And then she's like, oh, they must have gotten back together and reconciled. And the way Sam, after being thrown under the bus, whines to Mon, and she's like, babe, how could you? And Mon's response is to just shrug off Sam and just go back to talking like she didn't just like embarrass her girlfriend. These two are the worst. I love them.
I love this dynamic so much. Oh like God. They're the Gap people are gonna come after me, but I like this Sam and Mon better.
No, I agree. These two, okay, but here's why it's so good. Okay, it's because it's Sam and Mon. It's peak Sam and Mon. It's Sam and Mon without the drama. It's Sam and Mon without the toxicity of their relationship. Because everybody forgets their relationship was super toxic in the beginning. Like, super toxic. Mon was stalking Sam. And then, like, Sam was, like, wielding her power as the employer against Mon and emotionally, like, giving her emotional whiplash every 5 minutes. Eventually, now we have Sam and Mon who's dealt with all the bullshit. They've dealt with all their drama. And they're, like, in a healthy relationship now. So, like, we're seeing healthy relationships, Sam and Mon. Like, not that they're bad or Gap is bad. Nothing about that. It's just they went through some shit. And they're in a good place.
Yeah, I want to just clarify that I'm not talking about the actors, because if Free and Maggie were in blank doing the same thing, it's just the dynamic of the two of them. I mean, the actors in blank pull it off great as well.
They do a great job. Yeah, it's nothing to do with that. It's the journey that they were and their plot lines and things like that. They are here in this show as comic relief. They're just peak idiots, because that's their trope. They are idiots in love, and they're hilarious every time they're on screen. And this is what I love about Sam and Mon. They're hilarious when they're together, and they're just, when they're not going through drama, like, they're objectively really funny. They play off well together. They're playful and cute, and all this is like the best parts about Sam and Mon is like what we're seeing in this show. And they're really here to be a support system for Big Nung. And we may have talked about this. It might have been the first time we recorded this. If it's not, and I said this in another episode, I'm sorry, I can't remember what we've recorded at this point. But I'm just going to say it now, and if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. I don't know what was cut off of the original audio for this episode. I'm sorry, but I just want to say this thought because I think it's important. So Kaitlynn and I are in the process of watching many of these Thai girl love shows, and many. And one of them we're watching that we really love is 23.5. And we've talked about something that was unique. If you've never seen that show, we're not going to spoil it, but something that's unique about it from the shows that we've seen in this like genre is that it's the only one that we've seen so far that's actually an ensemble show. Okay. And what we mean by that is like the novel for, I read the novel for 23.5 and the novel for blank. Okay. And both of them are very similar in the fact that they're like it's like one character is the main character of the novel, and you're in that character's head the vast majority of the time. Okay. So in 23.5, it's Ongsa, and in blank, it's Big Nung. And so you're seeing the world through their point of view. And so a lot of times I've noticed the novels that are told like this, which is the vast majority of the ones that I've seen, that I've read and seen on screen, it's usually the adaptation is very much reads from that one character's point of view. So if you look at blank, the blank is told very much majority of the time from Big Nung's point of view, because that's what the novel was, right? And it's adapting it like the novel. So this is Big Nung's journey. Like Little Nung gets some more autonomy as a character in the show compared to the book. Like she has some stuff going on with the podcast, and you see more of her in her school. But vast majority of the plot lines, vast majority of the dialogue, everything revolves around Big Nung. Really. That's why we get like the Grandam stuff. And so like that's why Sam and Mon are here. Like they're here to support Big Nung. Okay. And if you notice, the reason it's not an ensemble is because anytime another character is on screen and they're not with one of the mains, they're always talking about the main. So anytime you see Sam and Mon just by themselves, they're always talking about Big Nung, because it's not an ensemble. Every scene in the show, except one scene with Sam and Mon at the very end, that's objectively hilarious, where they're playing video games. Everything, it has nothing to do with anything. It's just peak Sam and Mon just being Sam and Mon. It has nothing to do with blank. It was just, that's just Sam and Mon at their best, just being idiots, and I love them. But every other time they are on screen, anytime they are talking, it's about Big Nung, because this is an ensemble. Everyone's there to support Big Nung. The best way I can describe this is kind of like, have you ever heard of the Bechdel test?
Oh yeah, that's right. And then we had a thing.
Have you heard of it though?
Yeah, no, I have. I was going to remind you that you talked about it.
I know. I don't know if we recorded this, so I'm just reliving what we filmed. Okay, so for those that don't know, it's basically came out of this comic strip that was commenting on the fact that I think it was film, might have been TV, a couple of decades ago. Like basically, like a lot of female characters at the time, where they weren't people really. They were there to support the male characters. So it was a comic strip that was basically saying things like, well, you fail the test basically if they're not really people or full characters. If you don't see, if you basically anytime you have women in a scene where there's no men, if it first of all, women are always in scenes with men, so you never have the woman by herself, so that fails the test. If the women are on screen without men, is the conversation revolved around the man? If it is, and they never talk about anything else, they aren't full characters, right? So, because a lot of stories were just around men, and that's it, because they were just the protagonists, because men were the ones writing the stories, right? So I kind of akin that to like how to tell if it's an ensemble or not. So Blank is not an ensemble because if you have characters on screen without Big Nung or Little Nung, what do they talk about? Are they talking about anything aside from Big Nung and Little Nung? And the answer is no, because Mon and Sam by themselves, just talking about them. Whereas you go to 23.5, like that's not the case. You have characters like Aileen and Luna, and then you have like Ma Win's plotline, and when they're on screen without Unksa or Sun, they're not always talking about them. So Gap, similarly, anytime you had other characters on screen who weren't Sam and Mon, they were talking about Sam and Mon. They were scheming about Sam and Mon. So like these aren't ensemble shows, like, you know.
Yeah, the Loyal Pin's also the same way.
Yeah, Loyal Pin's very much like that too. It's not a bad thing. It's just like it's kind of the style. So like when you take Sam and Mon and just make them fully supportive characters, you remove all of their drama because you have to, because they're there to support Big Nung and Big Nung's story. So like I do love them in this show because they are the best comic relief because they are so funny. That's one of the things that made Gap so great. It's because it was funny, because these two are funny. So I like that we get them as the comic relief because funny, but also because it helps expand like Sam and Nung's sibling relationship, which I really love. I love their sibling relationship. And I feel like it was so fleshed out in Blank. And I really am thankful for Blank for that, because we only got like a taste of it in Gap. And it's their relationship is really sweet and beautiful. And I love it. I love that we do get that here. Okay, so back to the actual scene. If I said this before already, I'm so sorry. But I thought it was important to point out, because that's really the role of Sam and Mon in this show, is to support Nung. All right, so back to the scene. So Mon gets the conversation back on track, and she asks Big Nung if Little Nung is moving in yet. Because speaking from experience, Mon low-key moved into Sam's before they were even dating. So she's like, what's taking you guys so long? I know you're not dating, but like, did she move in yet? Like, what are you guys doing?
They're very behind on this timeline.
Yeah, they're like, what's going on? She got a key yet? And Big Nung explains, she's like, listen, we're just keeping things casual for right now because I need to, because I'm scared. And she's like, you know, it's just some sleepovers here and there. There's no U-Haul. You don't need to buy me one, Sam. It's going to be fine.
Sam was like, out U-Haul.
Yeah. Sam was like, get the phone out. She's like, no, Sam, please don't. And then Big Nung kind of like gets quiet and like kind of like looks distracted. And Sam notices this and she's like, what's wrong? Like, what's on your mind? And finally, Big Nung has kind of gotten to a better place where she's ready to talk about what's actually been plaguing her since the show started, which is whether or not her decisions are the right thing to do. She's been struggling with balancing what she wants, which are like selfish thoughts, versus like what's best for other people, or like decisions that like how decisions affect other people, which are like selfless decisions in a way. And so she low-key admits that that's something that's been plaguing her, and that this never bothered her until Little Nung came into her life. Like Little Nung was the catalyst for her to like reevaluate her entire life, basically. And she's like, I don't know, like ever since she came into my life, my heart feels, and then she like trails off. And while Big Nung uses her newfound emotional intelligence to like think about what words best describe how she's feeling, her immature sister turns to her wife and she's like, she's got it so bad. She got it so bad. And Mon's like, oh my God, Sam, you are so embarrassing. I cannot take you in public anywhere. I swear to God.
Something I know I said last time was when I read this, I read it as bad.
Yes, you definitely said that. I was hoping you wouldn't, but you said it again.
Do you want me not? You can cut it out.
It's fine. I don't care. All right. So Mon, the only adult at this table, asks if Little Nung knows how Big Nung feels. Does Little Nung know that she's been struggling with like making decisions because she's afraid of making mistakes or doing the wrong thing. And Big Nung says yes, but Little Nung was like, fuck it, we just forget about what everybody thinks. Like, we need to focus on how we feel. And Sam cuts in and is basically like, exactly, I agree with her. You finally found your own happiness. Why do you have to care about other people? And truthfully, Sam is the perfect person to agree with this, because learning it's okay to be selfish and put your happiness first instead of caving to other people constantly is the same lesson Sam learned during Gap. Like, that was her journey with Mon, basically. And she learned that from Big Nung, of all people. So what Sam is basically saying in this scene is, take your own advice this time and do what's best for you and find balance in your life. And she's like, you told me to do that. I did it. And look how my life turned out. Me and Mon are doing great. All right. So what I do love about this scene, like, again, it's just like the sisters coming like kind of full circle with finding their happiness. That's they both kind of went on those journeys independently. They both struggled with balancing like the expectations that were always put on them that comes from their family with just like finding what makes them happy. And it's really interesting they both had kind of similar journeys in that regards, where like they found their happiness through like women. Which is good.
Who doesn't find their happiness through, I mean,
like, listen,
men, but
yeah, which valid, that's valid, but like it's interesting that they had similar epic romantic love stories that happened to both of them, and they kind of both had to learn the lesson of like, how do I balance what I want with like our family? It's basically it. And like Big Nung, what's different about like Sam and Mon's situation is that like Mon never had to compromise her family ever, because her family was just very modern and supportive of Mon. At least we're talking about TV Gap. I'm not talking about book. I don't know about book Mon, but like TV Gap, like Mon's family was she grew up in a very loving, supporting environment. So she didn't have all this trauma that like these sisters have. And with Nung, it's like, not only does Nung have to balance like her selfish, selfless kind of stuff with the family, she also has to navigate Little Nung doing the exact same thing. And, you know, and Little Nung's much more reckless about it because she's like, fuck them, I just want you. And it's like, oh my God. So for Sam to give Nung this advice, like, it's true. She's like, Nung, like, go after what you want. Like, it's okay to be happy. That's what basically what she's saying. But Big Nung's like, it's not just me in this situation. It's all like, she doesn't say this to Sam, but we all know she's also grappling with like Little Nung's side of this too, because Little Nung is in the same position, and she's like, I'm trying to also protect her, and it's a little bit different than Sam and Mon's situation, which I find more fascinating. But you know,
yeah, I think
because they're so similar.
Scared to let herself be happy because
she's definitely scared. Because like, look what happened last time she like quote tried to be happy, like. Song died. Like she's just like Big Nung
trauma with
like PTSD. Like Nung will never. I don't think Big Nung will ever fully get over it. Like she is going to have to constantly deal with this throughout her whole life, especially with the fact that she never got closure on this topic. Like we've talked about, the Gray Man denied her of that before she passed away. So like, I think Big Nung is always going to struggle with this. I think she'll get better. As we see during Blank. Just like with having support from like Little Nung and Sam, she gets better at navigating it once she like is able to be more honest, but open about how she feels in communicating that. Like we see her be very emotionally intelligent in this scene. So that's a lot of growth for Nung to get here. But yeah, like I think she's always going to kind of struggle with this. And it's good that she has Little Nung and Sam, who are both very patient with Big Nung. Because I think this is a forever thing she's just going to have to like deal with, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's how trauma works. Like there's no switch to turn it off. Like every day's it's a process to like cope. And I think Big Nung is kind of always going to be in her head about stuff. It's unfortunate consequence of that. But, you know, we love you, Big Nung.
Oh, we love you so much.
We love you so much. I think
everyone knows that. Yeah,
I love Little Nung. I want to be friends with Little Nung. That's the thing. I think she's want Little Nung cool
to help us with our podcast.
I would love Little Nung to help us with our podcast. I think it'd be great. You don't even got to film, girl. You just use your voice. Little Nung's great. I do see she's hilarious. Anyway, so that's the end of this. We hope this was good. We're sorry about the audio thing. Sorry, Patreon. This is gonna go out late. We apologize. Anyway,
it's longer than our last one,
so there's that.
Enjoy. We're sorry.
Or maybe I repeated myself. I don't know. I'm sorry. So anyway, everybody in the comments, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're the real hero here today. And until next time, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay it up all over the place.
Bye.
Bye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube.
Please leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing super gay content.